Chapter 1487. What was this? 2 of the 3 Void Immortals from Sky Bamboo had been defeated. Only Zhu Yanghua and the young Devil King were on par. If they were not in the Sky Bamboo's resource lands, but in the Emperor Road's battle platform, then things would be much worse. Perhaps all 3 of them would be defeated by this invincible combination, and the Sky Bamboo would have no successor. Zhu Jiuyang and the others were enough to represent Sky Bamboo's honor. Now that they had been defeated, it was a fatal blow to their tribe. It's closed. From this moment on, the dozen or so true immortals from Sky Bamboo let out a hysterical roar, their aura leaking out. The entire Great Scarlet Plain was suffocating, making people tremble and have difficulty breathing. The tens of thousands of elite soldiers did not know what it meant when the Primogenitor's passage was completely closed. However, the core disciples of Sky Bamboo knew all too well that once the passage was closed, it was very likely that they would never be able to open the Primogenitor's creation ground again. They would also lose the great opportunity for their tribe to rise. B*****. Zhu Yanghua's eyes were about to pop out of their socket. He was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He said with a trembling voice, "This is really a huge joke, a huge joke." Zhu Yanghua was so angry that he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were red. He had fantasized about the Primogenitor's creation ground for countless years. Finally, when it was opened, there was a huge change. The passage was closed. Whether it could be reopened was a huge problem. In the next moment, Zhu Yanghua saw Xia Kunlun and the other 2 retreating quickly. They wanted to leave the Great Scarlet Plain at a frightening speed. In an instant, they had to cross the vast mountains and rivers and perform a space-time jump. Boom! Huge hands of true immortals stretched out, filled with immortal Tao order, and suppressed the 3 Void Immortals who wanted to leave. However, the 3 Peak Void Immortals were too fast. If Su Yan wanted to leave, no one could stop him. Although there were true immortals in this 10,000-tribe battlefield, there were no powerful true immortals at all. Stay here. The true immortal who occupied this place was furious, the large hand that reached out even burning, quickly enlarging, covering the sky and covering the earth. Along the way, the heavens collapsed and the earth split apart, the crazy waves of energy too astonishing, smashing apart the small world ahead, making the sun and moon tremble. Ha 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 ha! The 3 figures let out long roars, their black hair fluttering. 3 figures drifted indeterminately through space, and they moved along the general trend of the heavens and the earth as they strolled through space with peerlessly graceful bearing. They were truly peerlessly overbearing. All of you deserve to die here. Zhu Yanghua roared out in anger. His aura completely ignited. A terrifying radiance rose up from the ruined blood plains. The Sky Bamboo that took root behind him began to shine, especially the roots. The thumb-sized Sky Bamboo could be called incomparably terrifying. After all, it was a piece of root left behind by the ancestor. It was enough to allow Sky Bamboo ancestor to reincarnate and cultivate again. What's that? The race's true immortals were all horrified, finding it hard to control their emotions, wanting to prostrate themselves in worship towards the Sky Bamboo root. The Sky Bamboo root was unimaginably powerful. It had awakened from its slumber. Accompanied by the chanting of sutras, the order of the universe was restored. Its suppressive power was unimaginable. This treasure is too terrifying. Su Yan's eyes turned red. The Sky Bamboo ancestor's root was the foundation of his path. It was priceless. Once it was suppressed, it was like an invincible person's hand. Although it was difficult for the Sky Bamboo root to unleash its strongest power, a slight tremor was enough to disintegrate Su Yan's 3 avatars. One could imagine how powerful the Sky Bamboo root was. If he could obtain the fortune left behind by the ancestor, his future achievements would be limitless. Once he mastered the Sky Bamboo root, he would definitely have a place in the top 10 of the Emperor rankings. However, everything was destroyed by Su Yen. He wanted to kill Su Yen. Ah! Su Yen roared at the sky. The three avatars lit up at the same time. They were awakened one after another. Their auras were completely boiling. They stood at their peak. Under the suppression of the sky bamboo root, the three avatars were about to merge into one, turning into a new Su Yen. I can't merge. The three Su Yans erupted at the same time. The young Devil King used the Path of Calamity, the indestructible body awakened the initial fist, and Xia Kunlun used the Dragon Tiger Divine Escape. The three Void Immortals were dazzling. They unleashed their strongest attacks and bombarded the sky bamboo root descending from the sky. Boom! Loud explosions were heard. The scene was shocking. It was a scene of heaven and earth collapsing. Blood even spilled, dyeing the sky red. Terrifying auras were everywhere. People did not know what kind of treasure Zhu Sunhua had used. It could fight against three alone. They had to admit that he was extremely stunning at this moment. He controlled the sky bamboo Dharma form and suppressed three Void Immortals. Unfortunately, the next scene made people pale. Zhu Sunhua's sky bamboo Dharma form was blurring, twisting, and even showing signs of shattering. It was about to explode. What? In an instant, Zhu Sunhua was sent flying. His body was about to rot. He let out a roar of grief and indignation, full of unwillingness. Just now, he almost relied on the sky bamboo root to suppress the three Void Immortals. Unfortunately, the sky bamboo root was not something he could use for a long time. It was equivalent to cutting down the immortal Tao with a sword. Once it was used, it would cause great damage to his body. Of course, the most important thing was that he, Zhu Sunhua, was not qualified to control the sky bamboo root. Zhu Sunhua. The true immortals' expressions changed greatly. They all rushed over and saw that Zhu Sunhua was in a miserable state. His body was in tatters and his head was cracked. His injuries were too serious. Zhu Sunhua was filled with grief and indignation. His mournful eyes stared at the place where Xia Kunlun disappeared. He began to clench his fists. The flames of anger burned in his heart, burning him until he was about to lose his mind. But then Zhu Sunhua turned his head, raised his big hand, and slapped the heavily injured Zhu Yao. His body trembled and he fell to the ground. Zhu Sunhua, what are you doing? Zhu Yao covered his blood-red cheeks. He was beaten beyond recognition by Zhu Sunhua. His cheeks were cracked. His appearance was too miserable. You're a pig. Zhu Sunhua pointed at Zhu Yao and roared angrily, even if you're a pig, you shouldn't let the enemy sneak into your side. You're worse than a pig. Bastard, shut up. Zhu Yao exploded in anger. If you dare to talk back to me again, I'll chop you alive. Zhu Sunhua roared, you trash, you still want to fight with me for the primogenitor's fortune? If the primogenitor's fortune land is really difficult to reopen, you, Zhu Yao, will be the sinner of the tribe. 100 deaths won't be enough to atone for your sins. Zhu Zhiyang's face was ashen as he glared at Zhu Yao. How could he have known that Xia Kunlun was a spy? At this moment, Zhu Zhiyang even felt that the loss of the 7-colored Yuan immortal elixir might have something to do with Xia Kunlun. Damn it! Zhu Yao trembled. Her family most likely already knew about this. Once the news of Xia Kunlun sneaking into the sky bamboo bloodline spread, the consequences would be unimaginable. Even the patriarch behind her would find it difficult to speak up for her. Zhu Sunhua, this is no longer important. We must capture Xia Kunlun and the others. A true immortal rushed over with a gloomy face. He tried to chase after Su Yen but failed. Could he just watch them leave? Don't worry. Zhu Sunhua regained his composure and said in a low voice, the young Devil King and the others may have escaped, but their injuries are definitely serious. They can't run far. The aura left by my sky bamboo root in their bodies isn't something that can be dispelled that easily. If we can find them, Zhu Liangliang lost his composure. Zhu Liangkai lost control of his tone and said, "We must kill them. No, find a foolproof plan and suppress them all." Zhu Xuanhua's face was gloomy. He couldn't care less about the young Devil King. He didn't believe that he couldn't open the space left by the primogenitor. Perhaps he could find another way to reopen the Fortune Land. After all, he had obtained the Sky Bamboo primogenitor's root. If he couldn't obtain the fortune left by the primogenitor, it would be very difficult for him to fully fuse with the Sky Bamboo root scripture. He might not be able to do it in his lifetime. This is the supreme pass for me, Zhu Sunhua, to reach the top 10 on the monarch ranking, or even the top 3. Zhu Xuanhua's eyes were bloodshot. This was a great opportunity that could change his life. How could he be willing to miss it? He wanted to reopen the Fortune Land. The Sky Bamboo branch was under the protection of the army. Su Yen couldn't stay any longer. Although he also wanted to dig out the Sky Bamboo root scripture from Zhu Xuanhua's body, he didn't have the chance to do so. Su Yen traversed through the void and found a safe zone. At this moment, his aura was completely weakened. Although the One Qi turning 3 pure ones was the strongest divine ability in history, its biggest flaw was that the Qi turning 3 pure ones state was too much for Su Yen. Fuse! Su Yan's voice was deep. The 3 incarnations glowed at the same time. Suddenly, they walked together and fused with each other. In the blink of an eye, the weakened Su Yan's aura was terrifying. He stood at the peak and looked down on the universe. The moment the life force in his body boiled, Su Yen staggered and almost lost his balance. He felt that he was being suppressed. It was as if his life force was being locked down by the strongest, and he was about to be killed. Su Yen was pleasantly surprised. This was the heavenly tribulation. He looked into the starry sky and found a vast aura fluctuating. It was about to gather and suppress him. Ah! Su Yen laughed. This was the heavenly tribulation's reaction to him. Once he passed the baptism of the Emperor Road's second stage heavenly tribulation, Su Yen would be able to step into the pinnacle of the immortal realm. Then, he would be very close to the immortal realm. Steady! He quickly suppressed his aura and sealed himself. Soon, the environment's suppression on him disappeared, and the world returned to normal. Su Yen had suffered great losses. He also had some internal injuries. He had to stand at the peak of his condition before he could withstand the baptism of the heavenly tribulation. Good things just keep happening. Su Yen was very relaxed, and his face was full of smiles. The biggest problem was solved. He was looking forward to the day when the bamboo moon would be born. At the same time, he was also looking forward to the upcoming path of supremacy. When I step into the pinnacle of the immortal realm, it'll be the day I prove myself. Su Yen sat cross-legged on the ground. His powerful essence, qi, and spirit leaked out. When that time came, it would be Su Yan's strongest era. In the 10,000 tribes battlefield, there was no need for him to fear any powerful enemies. So what if they were true immortals? As long as he did not encounter any true immortals whose cultivation bases were too high, Su Yen had the ability to suppress them. Whoosh! Su Yen waved his sleeves, and a large number of natural treasures fell to the ground. His eyes shone with excitement. After all, he had taken away the heavenly bamboo lineage's secret treasure vault. There were many natural treasures in there, including all kinds of rare immortal herbs. There were even great medicines that contained exuberant immortal path essence. Of course, the most important thing was that there were 2 complete immortal herbs that he had sealed. When Su Yen stepped into the immortal path realm, it would be the time for him to refine the immortal herbs and strengthen himself. Su Yen took out immortal herbs and stuffed them into his stomach to refine. He needed a large amount of energy to recover his losses. Let's begin. Once I've recovered, it'll be time for me to transcend the heavenly tribulation. Su Yan's eyes shone with the flames of battle. He circulated the initial sutra and combined it with a series of great medicines to recover rapidly. Chapter 1488. The outside world was in chaos. The various clans were in heated discussions. The young Devil King was ferocious. Although he had only risen for a short period of time, the things he had done were too glorious. He was already known as a ruthless person and was treated as a super-wanted criminal. However, no one expected the young Devil King to have helpers, 2 void immortal experts. Look, the Sky Bamboo's resource secret realm and 3 vague figures in the space-time wormhole. This means that the 3 of them have the potential to reflect the space-time wormhole. Is the celestial court going to rise? 3 peak void immortals have appeared. This power cannot be ignored. Actually, I still don't know how the Sky Bamboo offended the young Devil King. Why is the young Devil King targeting their clan? Some people started to sympathize with the Sky Bamboo clan. They had been attacked by the young Devil King consecutively. Now, their resource secret realm had suffered heavy losses, but they still couldn't stop the young Devil King. Of course, these clans didn't know much about the inside story. They guessed that it was the young Devil King's leader, but they didn't know that it was someone called Xia Kunlun who did it. In less than a day, the news reached the Sky Bamboo lineage. The Sky Bamboo lineage's patriarchs were enraged and were about to go on a rampage. How is this possible? Zhu Yuanli was paralyzed on the ground. His whole body was covered in cold sweat. Especially the furious flames of the elders, they wanted to crush Zhu Yuanli alive. This is what you did. The ancestors were so angry that their veins were bulging. Zhu Yuanli was terrified. He said with a trembling voice, Xia Kunlun, how could he be a spy? He even worked with the young Devil King to destroy the ancestral land. I don't believe it. Xia Kunlun might have been killed. Someone must be impersonating him. Zhu Yuanli wasn't the only one who didn't believe it. Some of the elders in the clan also didn't dare to believe it. They all felt that Zhu Yuanli's speculation was correct. Xia Kunlun must have been killed in the 10,000 tribe battlefield. Someone must have impersonated him. However, someone suddenly said in horror, if Xia Kunlun has always been a spy and is even a grandmaster of occult arts, then the 7-colored immortal tree and Zhu Gaoga. At this point, Zhu Yuanli was terrified and almost wet his pants. If this series of events were done by Xia Kunlun, this was simply insane. Investigate for me. The clan's ancestral grounds were in chaos, and a major spy had appeared in the clan. This spy was even one of the top experts in the outer sect. He had cultivated in the Sky Bamboo lineage for a year or 2, and had even come into contact with the clan's best cave abode. This was a huge matter. Soon, the entire ancestral land was shaken. The several patriarchs who came to investigate were furious and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. They were so angry that they were trembling, and their faces were ashen. The divine dragon's grotto had been completely destroyed, and the spiritual essence that had been accumulated over the years had been completely depleted. Even the hundreds of heavenly grotto mansions nearby had suffered severe losses. Someone couldn't take it anymore and let out a shrill cry. Xia Kunlun, who are you? Who are you? That was over 100 peak heavenly grottos. Nearly all of their essence had been stolen. Such a despicable method caused the old ancestors' heart to bleed. This was simply a disaster. But only now did they realize that it was too humiliating. The group of old ancestors couldn't take it anymore, releasing terrifying killing intent. Ever since their clan was founded, they had never suffered such a huge loss. Moreover, this matter was too humiliating. If news of it got out, they would become a laughingstock. Xia Kunlun, who are you? The Sky Bamboo lineage's vast ancestral grounds were trembling. Cold killing intent leaked out and swept across the vast Sky Bamboo continent, causing great waves. With so many peak heavenly grottos almost destroyed, Xia Kunlun must have infiltrated the Sky Bamboo lineage long ago. How bold was he? Could it be that he was the culprit behind the seven-colored immortal tree? It must be. When the 9 Cauldrons auction left, Xia Kunlun was killed by the young Devil King's experts. Zhu Yueli was still trying to shift the blame. After all, he was the one who had recruited Xia Kunlun into the clan. He had to take responsibility for anything that happened. Roar, however, an earth-shattering roar exploded. With a rumble, it instantly killed Zhu Yueli. Zhu Lihui went berserk. His roar caused the starry skies to tremble and the sun and moon to dim. He stood in Su Yan's former abode, and used a secret treasure to calculate what had happened here. Although the image was blurry, he could still see that Zhu Gaoge was suppressed by Xia Kunlun. This is outrageous. The group of elders was so angry that they almost fainted. Xia Kunlun had been scheming from the start. He was definitely the culprit behind the theft of the 7-colored immortal fruit. Zhu Gaoge was merely a scapegoat. The truth of the matter was revealed. The clan was restless. They were seething with rage, causing the entire Sky Bamboo continent to tremble. This was a great humiliation. How could the Sky Bamboo lineage still have the face to call themselves an immortal sect? Xia Kunlun, who are you? Zhu Lihui's expression was mournful as he said furiously, how did he destroy the opening of the ancestors' creation? How did he steal the 7-colored immortal fruit? Everything else can be explained, but how do you explain these two? Xia Kunlun sent a woman into the ancestors' creation, and the creation was closed. An elder hurriedly spoke and imprinted Bamboo Moon's appearance in the void. When Zhu Lihui saw the portrait, he almost couldn't breathe. He let out a maniacal laugh. He understood. He understood everything. If it was Bamboo Moon, then the one who helped Xia Kunlun scheme and steal the 7-colored immortal fruit must be the ancestor's disciple. Xia Kunlun was definitely an expert from the Xianhuang universe. Now everything could be explained. Otherwise, how could the young demon king be with Xia Kunlun? Retribution. Ha ha, retribution. Zhu Lihui seemed to have gone mad. His eyes were bloodshot as he roared in grief and indignation. His only son had been killed by Su Yan. This was retribution, karma. However, as the saying went, there was always a cause and an effect. He had tasted the bitter fruit, but in the end, he didn't get anything. This was truly a great humiliation. What? That woman is a clansman from the Xianhuang universe. She's a personal disciple nurtured by the ancestor's disciple. The entire clan was in an uproar. If news of this spread, the impact would be terrible. Just the fact that Zhu Zhu was a personal disciple of the ancestor was enough to set off a shocking storm. Retribution. Zhu Lihui and all of you, this is retribution. Suddenly, a low and hoarse voice exploded. In the prison of the Sky Bamboo lineage, there was a maniacal laughter. Ha ha, retribution. Zhu Yao is still alive. Ha ha, this is retribution. Look at all of you. How sad. Back then, Zhu Yao was ordered to oversee the Xianhuang universe. He endured hundreds of years of hardship without any complaint. He even gave up the Daluo road. In the end, what he got in return was a bloody massacre. Ha 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 ha, retribution, ha ha ha. In the gloomy prison, there were over 100 experts who had once intimidated a region. They were shackled, and they were laughing crazily. However, their eyes were brimming with tears. Some of them roared at the top of their lungs, "Just you wait, the ancestor will come back. You people who want to create the glory of the heaven race and rewrite the name of our race, none of you will have a good ending." Cough. Cough. Zhu Lihui was so angry that he vomited blood. His body trembled as he pointed at the prison and shouted, "Kill! Kill! Kill them all! Kill!" Boom. A huge pressure suddenly descended, causing everyone to tremble. Zhu Lihui didn't rule out the possibility that this was a supreme existence from the ancestral court that had suppressed the dark prison. "Zhu Tian, you will die a horrible death. You won't have a good ending in the future. the hoarse roars were gradually suppressed. The dark prison was sealed forever. The ancestors of the clans didn't dare to breathe loudly. They knew the origins of these people. They were all elders of the clans. The reason why they didn't get rid of them was because they hoped that they would change their minds and work for the clans. After all, some of the experts suppressed in the prison were Zenith Heaven true immortals. They couldn't bear to kill them. Honorable Ancestor Zhu Lihui and the others knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the black shadow in front of them. His aura was too shocking. The entire space was under his shadow. Everything was suppressed, and the immortal Tao no longer existed. This was the honorable domain. Zhu Tian was one of the most outstanding disciples of the ancestor. He rarely came out of seclusion, and this matter had angered him. Zhu Yao, the most useless disciple of the ancestor. He snorted and didn't care. What he cared about the most was the sky bamboo root scripture. Zhu Tian originally wanted to possess the sky bamboo root scripture, but he failed. Therefore, he planted this thing in the body of an outstanding descendant, hoping that it could be cultivated in his body. However, how could Zhu Tian not be angry when such a change occurred in the ancestor's land of fortune? Honorable Ancestor, things aren't that bad. An elder said in a trembling voice. Zhu Yanghua has locked onto the traces of Xia Kunlun and the other two. Our clan has already sent an army to encircle them. Even if the three of them have 3 heads and 6 arms, they won't live past tomorrow. The entrenched figure in the darkness slowly blurred. However, the moment it completely disappeared, an ancient leaf fell down. The moment the ordinary leaf fell in front of them, it was as if a vast world had fallen. Its aura was terrifying. Bring this item with you. Open the space of fortune where it fell. A cold voice exploded, shocking Zhu Lihui and the others. This should be the ancestor's item, or a leaf that fell from the ancestor's body. This was a treasure that was hard to find in the world. Young Devil King and Xia Kunlun, let's see how long you can live. I want to see who you are. Zhu Lihui's heart was filled with vengeance and anger. His only son was killed. The hatred was too great. He didn't even think that Bamboo Moon was still alive. This matter had a huge impact on him. Then Xia Kunlun was definitely a powerhouse of the Xianhuang universe. Who could it be? He vaguely thought of a person, a ruthless person who was buried in the darkness. Even Xian Tyrant's incarnation was Su Yan. Could this Xia Kunlun be Su Yan? Otherwise, who would be willing to risk their lives for Bamboo Moon? Whether you are a human or a ghost, you won't live for long. Killing intent rose in Zhu Lihui's heart. In the 10,000 races battlefield, Su Yan was recuperating. Almost a day had passed, and he had recovered more than half of the energy he had lost. Tomorrow morning, it should be enough. One precious medicine after another was refined by Su Yan. In order to recover to his peak as soon as possible, he didn't care about these heavenly treasures at all. He continued to absorb and refine them. The area 100,000 miles away from him was not peaceful. True immortals of the sky bamboo lineage arrived one after another. A total of 10 true immortals had arrived. They quickly rushed toward the destination where Su Yan was hibernating. Their speed was very fast. Each of them had a powerful killing weapon, so it was better to be prepared. At that instant, an extremely cold, murderous intent spread out and froze the area within 100,000 li. These were the 10 true immortals. Although 8 of them were at the first heaven realm, they were still experts of the 10 true immortal domains who had descended into the world. It was intimidating. Currently, the various great immortal sects and orthodoxies were frantically nurturing true immortal experts to protect the young kings of their clans. At the same time, they were also attacking more blessed lands in the 10,000 races battlefield. In this battle, in order to capture Su Yan and the others, the sky bamboo lineage had directly sent out 10 true immortals with powerful killing weapons. Someone's approaching. How fast, Su Yan, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground and cultivating, felt his heart skip a beat. I was careless. He was instinctively shocked. The heaven-opening writing brush had given him too much of a sense of security. However, this sense of security had caused Su Yen to lose the sharp sense of smell that he had always possessed. At this moment, he understood that everything was illusory. No matter how many supreme treasures one had, without powerful strength, one would still have to face the threat of death. Su Yen quickly guessed that it was because of the sky bamboo root. Otherwise, the other treasures wouldn't have been able to deceive his senses. Su Yan's expression was somewhat cold. It was definitely impossible for him to leave now. With the eye of heaven evasion, he could see that there were tens of thousands of troops within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. This was an inescapable net. He couldn't escape even if he had wings. With a great crisis approaching, Su Yen became calmer and calmer. He was thinking of a way out. Although Su Yen was in the Three Pure One state and could attack several true immortal experts at the same time, the formation of the 10 true immortals was astonishing. They were already threatening Su Yan's life. This kid can hold on. Why isn't he running now? He's a master of the occult arts. He knows that this is a critical juncture. There's no point in running. He's the only one here. The Xian people sent many experts, but we blocked them all outside. The Xian people have offered 50,000 kilograms of immortal Dao stones for the young Devil King's head. If he's alive, they're even willing to pay 200,000 kilograms of immortal Dao stones. The faces of the 10 true immortals sank. They realized that Xia Kunlun was the only one here. The young Devil King and indestructible body were both gone. These people looked at Su Yen coldly as if they were looking at a dead man. A false immortal who had not recovered from his injuries? Resisting the 10 true immortals? That was completely wishful thinking. Xia Kunlun, your death is at hand. If you have something to say, say it. A genuine immortal in blue walked over. Zhu Yin stood there and looked at Su Yen with cold eyes. He said coldly, "Who are you? I hope you can explain clearly. Otherwise, I guarantee that you won't be able to die even if you want to." Su Yen sat cross-legged on a mountain. He was still recuperating. He was refining the immortal treasure medicine in his body to recover his energy loss. Su Yen shook his sleeves and took out the unconscious snow-white little critter. "Stop them. I'll let you drink 10 big bowls." Su Yan's calm words made the 10 true immortals doubt their lives. A little rat? Stop them? Is this Xia Kunlun a lunatic? De Zhang. Chapter 1489. A pair of pitch-black beast eyes opened, its eyes were hazy with sleep. Little White Dragon lazily yawned, stood up and stretched his back. This guy's reaction was a little slow. Its mind was filled with the delicious images of the 10 big bowls of treasure blood. Saliva flowed out from the corner of its mouth as it excitedly whimpered at Su Yen. It couldn't wait to drink it right now. At the same time, Su Yen took out the treasure blood he had prepared beforehand and let the little white dragon drink it. Whirr! The little white dragon howled and stretched out its little head. It stuck out its bright red tongue and swallowed the treasure blood mouthful by mouthful. To the little white dragon, Su Yen was its stay-at-home dad. In short, no heavenly treasure could compare to Su Yan's bowl of treasure blood. "You're really a madman." Zhu Yinli was so angry that he laughed and said with disdain, "Relying on this little mouse that hasn't been weaned off milk, you want to stop us? Xia Kunlun, oh Xia Kunlun, you're really a madman. If you want to find a scapegoat, you have to find a stronger one." Roar! The little white dragon growled. It hated it when people disturbed it while it was eating. The little critter was especially cute when it was angry. Zhu Yinli didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He looked at Su Yen with pity and said, "Xia Kunlun, you tried every possible way to sneak into my sky bamboo lineage. This old man really wants to cut you into pieces. But don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. You will be miserable from now on." Speaking until here, The little white dragon also finished drinking the treasure blood. It licked the corner of its mouth as if it hadn't had enough. It happily stuck out its tongue and ate the remaining treasure blood in the bowl clean. Little bastard, you can still eat. Su Yan's silence and the snow-white little critter's cheerful drinking made Zhu Yinli angry. He lifted his foot and kicked the treasure bowl away. Then, he looked at the snow-white little critter with his gloomy eyes. He wanted to pull out its tendons and skin it. Roar! The little white dragon was angry. Its snow-white fur stood up like a little hedgehog. That treasure bowl was its favorite item. Little bastard, a pitiful ant dares to hiss at me. Bamboo Seal immediately waved his palm and struck out. During this process, he did not show any mercy. Immortal Dao battle prowess was released, wanting to directly blast little white dragon into smithereens. Roar! When the second roar exploded, the world that was originally clear for thousands of kilometers was instantly filled with dazzling light. A surging golden river of immortals descended, drowning the entire sky and illuminating the starry sky. This scene was extremely sacred. Little guy, transform. Let me see the power of the long day song. Su Yan recuperated in peace. He took out the few precious medicines that could nurture immortal energy and swallowed them all. He was already very close to recovering. As long as Little White Dragon could hold on for this period of time, the 10 true immortals' faces sank. What was going on? The commotion was too outrageous. So much so that in the next moment, the golden divine light that filled the sky completely dissipated. The bright universe also became pitch black like ink. It was as if a purgatory of death had enveloped the world. It was completely impossible to see one's own fingers. The atmosphere was violent to the extreme. The reversal of the weather was all affected by Little White Dragon's beast eyes. Its aura had already become extremely violent. Roar! The third roar exploded. The boundless territory was trembling. Large cracks even appeared. It was as if a powerful Qilin had shattered the heaven and earth with its roar. Its vicious aura surged into the world. Looking from afar, one could see that in the direction of the source, space-time had exploded. A supreme creature also followed closely into the lower realm. How is this possible? Bamboo Seal was completely petrified. He saw a giant vicious beast rising from the ground. Its flesh shell was blazing with golden light. It had a dragon tail and took heavy step. Its mouth and nose spurted out yin and yang qi. This was that snow-white little critter? That creature that looked like a little puppy? After transforming for a short period of time, Little White Dragon was ridiculously powerful. Its life essence was too vigorous. Even if a true immortal giant vicious beast roared here, no one would treat it as an immortal. Bam! The hand of Immortal Path, that was originally filled with bamboo origin power, was directly destroyed. It was very difficult for it to withstand Long Daesong's barbaric strength. Not good. The 9 true immortals who were entrenched in the surroundings were shocked. The transformed Long Daesong charged over. The collision caused Bamboo Seal's entire arm to explode. Even his body was sent flying. Pfft! He spat out a large mouthful of blood. His eyes flashed with shock and disbelief. How could this snow-white little critter have the battle prowess of a true immortal? Impossible! In the next moment, Bamboo Seal started to doubt his life. Because the golden battle armor he was wearing was directly pierced through by Long Daesong's horn on its forehead. Ah! He cried out in pain. His chest had collapsed. The golden horn was like a sword embryo, piercing through his body. He felt fear. The Immortal Path order that evolved in his body was completely unable to withstand the penetration of Long Daesong's horn. One must know that the golden battle armor was enough to withstand the attack of Immortal Path realm. However, the horn on Long Daesong's forehead directly pierced through it, injuring his true immortal body. Su Yan was also shocked. He knew that Little White Dragon was powerful, but he definitely didn't expect it to be powerful to this extent. He even realized that in these few months, Long Daesung's strength had increased by a lot compared to before. Just what level of freak was this guy? This was a 10 transformation true dragon that was just born a few months ago. In the future, Long Daesung's space for growth was really limitless. Rumble, suddenly, from all directions, a total of 9 layers of immortal path light surged toward Long Daesung from all directions. These were 9 true immortals. Once they joined forces, the immortal path's divine might was vast. The exuberant immortal path energy directly drowned Long Daesung. Little White Dragon, Su Yan was nervous. His body's recovery speed was increasing. He used the body-nurturing art to madly steal the essence of precious herbs to replenish the damage to his body. If he wanted to break through this situation, he had to step into the immortal realm of the 9th heaven. Hence, unless it was absolutely necessary, Su Yan wouldn't make a move. Otherwise, this calamity would be extremely difficult to break through. Roar! Long Daesung roared at the sky. Its golden body shone brightly. One had to admit that Little White Dragon's body was too tough. The combined energy of 9 true immortals couldn't suppress it at all. Instead, its body flowed with a brilliant radiance, forming a defensive light barrier. Suppress! The 9 true immortals roared again. Just what kind of supreme living being was this? It could actually resist the combined suppression of 9 true immortals. Was this really a false immortal? The auras of the 9 true immortals surged. The ocean-like immortal path ocean descended and intertwined with each other, forming an immortal path ocean. It forcefully restrained Long Daesung's violent transformation. The 9 experts' expressions were grim. Even if the saint of an immortal sex orthodoxy came, he wouldn't be able to withstand the combined suppression of 9 true immortals, let alone Little White Dragon. It was already impressive enough for a false immortal to kill a true immortal. However, who could stand against 9 true immortals? Little White Dragon cried out anxiously. However, no matter how hard it struggled, it couldn't shake off the combined suppression of the 9 true immortals. Boom! All of a sudden, a shiny heaven and earth bracelet tore through the void and shot toward one of the true immortal experts. Heaven and earth bracelet, the true immortal was shocked. Wasn't this the treasure of the young Devil King? Why did Xia Kunlun have it? He didn't have time to think. He used all his strength to resist the heaven and earth bracelet. However, this immortal treasure was enough to encompass heaven and earth. This true immortal expert was instantly subdued. Soul-steadying needle, another true immortal cried out in shock. A pitch-black 3-inch soul-steadying needle shot toward him at lightning speed. He fled in panic. However, he had just stepped into the true immortal realm, and his primordial spirit was still too weak. If he was hit by the soul-steadying needle, even if he didn't die, he would be half-crippled. Su Yan acted decisively and interfered with the 2 true immortals. Little White Dragon, 10 bowls of precious blood. Hurry up and charge! When Su Yan's shout reached Long Daesung's ears, it went berserk once again. Its eyes flickered with excitement. It roared as it swallowed the sky, and its entire body surged with even more violent energy. Its left eye was golden, while its right eye was pitch black. Both of its pupils burned as if it had opened up the 6 paths of reincarnation. Accompanied by its own rising aura, it tore apart the seals of the 7 true immortals. What kind of creature is this? Could it be an extinct supreme being? The 7 experts were horrified. Long Daesung's explosive power was too shocking. Whether it was his primordial spirit or his body, they were both ridiculously strong. Even his immortal substance was incomparable. Roar! The suppressed Long Daesung rushed out and pounced toward Zhu Yinli, who had kicked away its precious bowl. No! Zhu Yinli screamed. Zhu Yinli screamed in fear. What kind of monster was it that could tear apart the seals of the 7 true immortals? The Dragon Grand Sage charged forward like a raging bull. As his hooves landed on the ground, thunderous booms could be heard. The golden battle armor, which was already shattered, exploded. Even his body was torn apart. B*****. The 7 true immortals almost went crazy. Zhu Yinli was directly crippled. Don't hold back. Work together and suppress it. The 7 true immortals roared. They each activated their great remarkable powers and charged toward Long Day Song. Boom! These were 7 true immortals. At the current stage of the Myriad Tribe battlefield, this combination was enough to sweep through an area. Remarkable powers bloomed in the sky, one after another. They contained super-destructive power that could easily kill a void immortal expert. However, when all of this was about to crush Little White Dragon's body, the horn on its forehead shone brightly. It tore the sky apart, and the layers of remarkable powers were torn into 2. The horn on its forehead could be said to be a supreme treasure. Its penetrative power was abnormal. Even the yin-yang diagram that covered its forehead flowed with gray light. It was like a great Tao diagram that was invincible. All remarkable powers had no effect on Long Day Song. What was this? Was it immune to magic power? The eyes of the 7 true immortals turned red. What a noble bloodline this was! If they could capture it and bring it back to their family and tame it, it was hard to imagine what kind of battle beast their family would obtain. Boom! A huge seal flipped over from afar and smashed onto Long Day Song's body. Long Day Song, who was still excited, was sent flying by the huge seal. Blood flowed out of its mouth and nose. Ha ha ha, a beast will always be a beast. It has brute force, but it can't unleash the power it should have. The expert holding the huge seal sneered. Looks like our family will have another divine guardian beast. We must capture it alive. Xia Kunlun, I really have to thank you for giving our family such a great gift. Su Yen did not say a word. He had been speeding up the recovery of his losses. However, Long Day Song, who seemed to be heavily injured, suddenly got up. Yin and Yang Qi spewed out of its mouth and nose. The great immortal seal only left a bloody mark on its body. It did not hurt Long Day Song's body at all. It was also enraged. It pounced forward, raised its golden claws, and attacked the true immortal holding the huge seal. 9 Heaven's Divine Emperor. Chapter 1490. The toughness of its body is too ridiculous. It might be a supreme treasure of the demon race. Its indestructible body is comparable to an immortal Tao treasure. It's unparalleled in the world. Even the true immortal with the seal was stunned. The immortal Tao treasure couldn't even move it. It only left an insignificant wound. Don't hold back anymore. We must suppress it. If this battle beast is tamed, it will have a great impact on our race. The 7 true immortals' eyes were red with greed. They each held a great killing weapon and charged towards Long Day Song. Although Long Day Song's potential was extraordinary, its body was tough, and its strength was extremely barbaric. It was not a true immortal expert after all. Now, the 7 true immortals of the Sky Bamboo lineage joined forces to attack. This was their strongest state. They produced an energy storm that suppressed Long Day Song. Facing the thunderous attack, Long Day Song was like a newborn calf that was not afraid of tigers. It charged forward without any fear. Its golden flesh shell destroyed the immortal Tao energy that whistled towards it. Its posture and aura were like the return of an ancient beast. Its ferocious might shook the heavens and the earth. However, when it arrived in front of them, the 7 true immortals laughed sinisterly. Their smiles were especially cruel. They threw out immortal Tao treasures that covered the sky and smashed towards Long Day Song. Boom! Long Day Song's powerful footsteps were blocked. There was a huge cauldron, a golden bell, a battle spear, and a killing sword. One after another, they flowed with immortal Tao killing intent and struck Long Day Song's body. Its majestic appearance looked a little miserable. It was beaten until its body trembled violently and rolled in the void. After all, Long Day Song lacked battle experience. Even if its battle strength could suppress a true immortal of the 1st or 2nd heaven, it was still extremely difficult for it to withstand the suppression of a large number of immortal Dao treasures. Su Yen remained calm. He didn't help Long Daesung again, nor did he provide it with immortal Dao treasures. In the demon Dao, those with strong bodies could refine their treasured bodies into great killing weapons that could destroy everything. Long Daesung definitely had the potential to become a supreme treasured body. Although this battle was difficult for Little White Dragon, it was enough to let it taste the bitter fruit and focus on cultivation in the future. This was a 10 transformations true dragon. In the future, it would be a demon expert that could shake the world. Little White Dragon. Su Yen clenched his fists tightly. He would never treat it as a flower in a greenhouse. He would train it to become an indomitable demon expert. To not be. A beast will always be a beast. I want to see just how tough your body is. In the blink of an eye, a battle spear tore through the sky. Its speed was too fast, difficult to see with the naked eye. It immediately pierced towards Long Daesung's back. The black battle spear shone. It was extremely terrifying, like black lightning. If it was anyone else, they would have been directly pierced through and their bodies would explode. However, Long Daesung's back released kengqiang sounds. Sparks flew everywhere. It was as if the battle spear struck a piece of divine iron. It was difficult to penetrate it, but it still tore open layers of golden scales. Of course, that was all it could do. Its skin is too tough. It is difficult for immortal treasures to destroy it. This creature is hard to find. Every part of its body is a treasure. Rumor has it that the demon race's supreme creatures can refine their bodies into super great killing weapons. This is most likely one of the demon race's supreme creatures. The 7 true immortals of Sky Bamboo were discussing. The more they thought about it, the more shocked they became. They became more and more greedy towards Long Daesung. If they could suppress this unknown beast and take it away, it would be the same as obtaining a supreme battle beast for their race. Little thing, hang in there. Su Yen stared unblinkingly at Long Daesung, who was covered in cuts and bruises. This angered him. He really wanted to kill his way over. However, he held himself back. In the future, Long Daesung would inevitably face more bloody battles. It had to grasp the ability to survive. After experiencing this series of bloody battles, it would definitely grow quickly. Evil creature, you've suffered enough losses. Let's see how long you can last. A black-clothed true immortal brought out a large cauldron. With a rumble, it smashed towards Long Daesung. Long Daesung hissed. It wanted to avoid the large cauldron. However, the large cauldron quickly enlarged to a diameter of 10,000 feet. It was difficult to avoid and was directly smashed by it. It let out a furious roar. Its entire body was suppressed by the cauldron. Its blood-stained golden body shone, causing the large cauldron to tremble. It seemed like it would be overturned at any time. Surrender obediently. You'll be the guardian divine beast of Sky Bamboo in the future. You should feel honored. A divine chain stretched out, interweaving with mysterious immortal veins. It directly locked onto Long Daesung's neck. Roar, Long Daesung felt humiliated. Its neck was bound by the divine chain. It wanted to resist, but the other experts brought out their treasures one after another, suppressing its body and imprisoning it. Ha ha ha, it's finally suppressed. Animals will always be animals. It has divine power but no powerful abilities. It's just a flower in a greenhouse. We'll suppress it and bring it back to our families. We'll definitely be able to cultivate an invincible battle beast. In the future, it'll accompany our holy sun to sweep through the world. The 7 true immortals laughed complacently. Looking at the imprisoned Long Daesung, they were especially excited. As long as they brought it back to their families, they would definitely be rewarded handsomely. Suddenly, strands of terrifying vitality leaked out, causing the void to tremble under the pressure. In the direction of the source, Su Yan's body blazed. Vast divine power surged out of his body. The scene was shocking. It was as if an ancient creature was slowly awakening from its slumber. "It's Xia Kunlun. Suppress him, quick!" The three true immortals instantly turned around and charged towards Su Yen. They were well aware of Xia Kunlun's strength. Hence, they unleashed their full power. They wanted to severely injure Su Yen in a single blow. Roar! Long Daesong roared. It was like a mad dragon that wanted to rush to Su Yan's aid. However, no matter how loud its roar was, it could not resolve Su Yan's crisis. It could only watch as danger approached Su Yen. In its fury, its beast blood boiled. Its pupils blazed 10,000 times brighter. Soul fire surged in its sea of consciousness. It seemed as if the 9 great demonic path supreme beings were reviving. Its aura was terrifying beyond compare. Pft! One after another, the true immortals coughed up blood violently. Their eyes turned black, and their bodies began to tremble. They felt great fear. They felt as if an invincible king had gone mad and wanted to destroy their bodies and souls. Oh no! The 4 true immortals were terrified. How could its primordial spirit be so freakish? It was too illogical. However, the result was beyond their expectations. Long Daesong's soul waves were too majestic. It caused its body to tremble violently. It could not bear it and was about to faint. It cried out indignantly. It saw Su Yen as its only kin. How could it watch as he was harmed? "Xia Kunlun, obediently accept your punishment." Several true immortals had already slaughtered their way to Su Yen. There were even large groups of elite soldiers closing in from all directions. They were about to slaughter their way here. The scene was frightening enough. Essence blood filled the heavens. Boundless killing intent surged. There were at least millions of them. At least 10,000 elite soldiers slaughtered their way over. There were even quite a few Sky Bamboo lineage's disciples who carried great killing weapons. They had already begun to seal the sky and decimate the earth in all directions. What a great commotion! It's the Sky Bamboo lineage. Is the young Devil King going to be captured alive? The outside world was not calm either. Who would have thought that the Sky Bamboo lineage would move so quickly? Another large-scale war had broken out. That's not right. Even though the space-time treasures projection is a bit blurry, that person doesn't seem to be the young Devil King. It should be one of the 3 great vicious ones. This matter caused a huge commotion. The immortal race's people were extremely angry and disappointed. They originally thought that young Master Nian had been blocked. Who would have thought that it wasn't young Master Nian, but rather Xia Kunlun who had been blocked? How can we not avenge our son's death? Zhu Lihui's chest heaved violently. He saw Xia Kunlun through the space-time treasure mirror and growled, "We must capture him alive and bring him back to the tribe. I will personally beat him to death." No matter how magnanimous Zhu Lihui was, he could not swallow this resentment. This vile spawn is doomed. There's no way out. There was no need to mention how much the Sky Bamboo lineage hated Xia Kunlun. When they recalled what he had done, they still gnashed their teeth in hatred. Did they dare to believe it? A young man had infiltrated their tribe, stolen the 7-colored origin immortal fruit, and destroyed hundreds of pinnacle cave abodes. Many experts in the outside world saw this corner of spacetime through the spacetime treasure. Even though the image was blurry, they could still see that the Sky Bamboo lineage had gone to war. Tens of thousands of elite soldiers had slaughtered their way over. At their destination, 3 true immortals closed in on Su Yen. Their faces were cold, ferocious, and cruel. "Kneel!" Someone roared. His aura went berserk. True immortal laws filled the air and struck towards Su Yen from all directions. In an instant, a terrifying aura filled the air. The scene shook the world. It was as if they had returned to the era when the heavens and earth were first created. Su Yan's pupils suddenly opened. His pupils burned brightly. As they opened, the vast space-time around him flickered. Connate stone eye. This scene infuriated Zhu Lihui. He must have fused with the connate stone eye. Otherwise, Xia Kunlun could not possibly possess such a powerful heaven's eye. I don't care if he's a human or a ghost. We must capture him alive. We can't kill him. Zhu Lihui growled. He was so angry that his body was trembling. Even his eyes were bloodshot. On the battlefield, killing intent surged. Cold radiance was like an ocean. The commotion grew more and more shocking. In the end, even the space-time wormhole was drowned by the killing intent. Kill him. At this moment, the three true immortals attacked again. They unleashed their most powerful combat strength. They surged forward, intending to suppress Lu Xing. Su Yan let out a long howl. His long black hair danced wildly. His aura was released without limit. His qi and blood were too vigorous. Even the true immortals could not seal it. It pierced through the heavens and rushed into the starry sky. What a powerful hero! Many important figures who saw this scene through the space-time mirror were shocked. What a terrifying foundation! He was definitely a top-notch false immortal. Could it be that the celestial court had given birth to another top-notch false immortal other than the young Devil King? No matter who he is, he must die. Zhu Lihui growled. With 9 true immortals and tens of thousands of elite soldiers, who could escape from such a lineup? Who could? Even if the Tongtian young master came, would he be able to escape? It was impossible. Boom! However, in the next moment the entire sky darkened. Heaven and earth shook. Gods and ghosts wept. The world was pitch black. The atmosphere was extremely oppressive. The elite soldiers who surrounded Lu Xing were all frightened. They felt that something bad was about to happen. Let's begin. Su Yan's words made the 3 true immortals tremble. They felt that the world had changed. There were supreme laws intertwining. The aura was so terrifying that they almost fell to the ground. This is, one of the true immortals almost despaired. What did he see? The entire region seemed to have turned gloomy, and lightning flashed in the sky. This terrified him. Was this a heavenly tribulation? What kind of F***king joke was this? They had not attracted such a crazy killing intent when they broke through to the true immortal realm. Could it be that Xia Kunlun was going to break through to the true immortal realm and bring about an apocalyptic disaster here? Updated 3 chapters in a row. That's all for today. I'm going to watch the military parade. Love, China. Chapter 1491. Why is the sky turning dark? The images reflected by the various space-time treasured mirrors were dark and could not be seen clearly. At first, they thought that there was a problem with the space-time treasured mirror's operation. Lightning flashed in the dark images displayed by the treasured mirror. Bolts of lightning came one after another, chilling to the bone. They were like blood-red evil dragons in the darkness, emitting a destructive aura. The experts of the various immortal sect orthodoxies were stunned. Someone said in shock, Xia Kunlun actually summoned a heavenly tribulation. Doesn't he know that the more people it engulfs, the stronger the heavenly tribulation will be? Darkness covered the sun. Lightning flashed, and a destructive aura surged out, threatening to destroy all life. Su Yan pushed his aura and stood at its peak, causing the brewing lightning to go berserk. They fell together like thousands of blood-red evil dragons, crashing into the earth. What's that? Fear gripped the souls of all living beings. The aura pulled by thousands of blood-red lightning bolts descended upon the world in the form of thunder. It frightened them so much that some even fell to the ground, their bodies on the verge of breaking apart. Heavenly tribulation, it's heavenly tribulation. Their scalps were tingling. They wanted to escape, to get away from this disaster. However, the area covered by the heavenly tribulation was too far away. Darkness covered the sun, and the blood-red flashes illuminated the world. The entire world was in a state of extreme violence. The oppression was suffocating and depressing. The heavenly tribulation summoned by Su Yan was too vast. Blood-red lightning fell from the sky like an ocean. It was as if the boundless heavenly tribulation was about to fall. Arg, batch after batch, the troops that surrounded them were torn apart by the lightning. They were beaten into balls of blood. Their bodies and souls were completely destroyed. Loud noises accompanied by blood spread out in the blood-red world. No, save me. Too many people were in despair as they struggled against the surging lightning. However, the series of protective treasures they summoned were unable to withstand the power of the heavenly tribulation. All of them began to explode. The instant they regained their senses from fear, lightning after lightning had already torn apart their precious bodies. Boom! The vast territory trembled. Bloody light filled the sky. Too many cultivators exploded. Immortals were nothing in the face of such a vast heavenly tribulation's power. Even the half-step true immortals were in despair. They couldn't escape at all. No matter how fast they couldn't outrun the vast lightning strikes of the heavenly tribulation. In a short period of time, boundless myriad tribulations rained down, enveloping millions of miles of rivers and mountains. The spectators in the distance were all petrified. All of this was too sudden. The extent of the heavenly tribulation was unimaginable. They had seen true immortals undergo tribulation before, but it was definitely not as freakish as this. This is really crazy. Is this the true immortal tribulation? This is the tribulation of a pseudo-immortal realm cultivator. He wants to bury millions of lives with him. How crazy! In the area enveloped by the heavenly tribulation, there are quite a few true immortals. They would imperceptibly increase the strength of the heavenly tribulation. Who would be able to endure such a tribulation? The outside world was in an uproar. Heated discussions were taking place everywhere. The young Devil King's fame was too great. Now, even this unknown Xia Kunlun was being closely watched. The Xian people were being watched by a terrorist leader. Their expressions were ugly. They didn't care about Xia Kunlun's background. They only wanted to kill the young Devil King and didn't care about anything else. But there was no trace of the young Devil King. The boundless heavenly tribulation descended. In a few breaths of time, the clouds that covered the sky were all blood-red. The number of people who died was incalculable. Boom! A shocking scene. The heavenly tribulation covered millions of miles. Heavy rain poured down and lightning poured down, tearing everything apart. In the direction of the source, the lightning was like a sea. Lightning bolts came one after another. They were even thicker than mountains. Just like that, tens of thousands of lightning bolts rained down. They could easily destroy the heavens and earth. Su Yen was drowned by the heavenly tribulation. He cried out in pain. His entire body felt like it was being slashed by swords of laws. He was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. This kind of heavenly tribulation was very ridiculous. Before coming, the giant bamboo told Su Yen that once the heavenly tribulation was triggered, he had to be careful. This was because the stronger one was, the greater the risk they had to bear. It was completely a trial of their life essence. I have to endure it. Su Yen roared in the area of heavenly tribulation. His fighting spirit was high. He wanted to become a peak void immortal. He wanted to complete the transformation of his life essence. He wanted to cultivate the indestructible body. Xia Kunlun, you won't be able to endure it. With so many people involved, the heavenly tribulation will only get stronger. You won't be able to survive. Nearby, the true immortals were furious. However, they couldn't care less about the others. They exploded with their strongest power to resist the lightning. After all, there were 9 true immortals here. They were fully qualified to resist the lightning. They wouldn't die. What are you screaming for? I'll send you to hell first. Suddenly, at the source of the heavenly tribulation, a figure suppressed by the heavenly tribulation suddenly rose from the ground. After a short period of awakening, he crashed into a corner of the sea of lightning. Su Yan's body was charred black. His hair was disheveled. However, his essence, qi, and spirit were too shocking. In an instant, he rushed over. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts surrounded him as he rushed towards the 9 true immortals. Crazy! The 9 true immortals trembled. Was he crazy? How dare he guide the heavenly tribulation to target them? Boom! Su Yen rushed over. Although he didn't attack, the lightning that bathed his body also drowned this true immortal. He wanted to guide the heavenly tribulation to destroy these 9 true immortals and deal a heavy blow to the sky bamboo lineage. Only at the source of the heavenly tribulation would one know the strongest power of this tribulation. What level was it at? This was the trial of life. It carried the crushing pressure of the immortal Tao. Tens of thousands of layers fell down. A true immortal's body collapsed. Rolling lightning entered his body, causing him so much pain that he wished he could die immediately. "Who are you?" He let out a trembling voice. He came into close contact with Su Yen. The charred body of Su Yen exuded a majestic aura of life. His chi and blood were exuberant beyond compare. His soul light was blazing. He was ridiculously powerful. It was equivalent to a true immortal howling here. He didn't believe that this was Xia Kunlun. His body was equivalent to the indestructible body, and his dermic powers were equivalent to the young Devil King. He completely possessed the potential of a peak void immortal. The moment he ignited, the blazing light filled the sky. Together with the rolling lightning, it swallowed him up. Ah! In the end, a miserable cry exploded. This true immortal finally exploded, his body and Tao vanishing. Heavens, he killed a true immortal. He killed him with the heavenly tribulation. The experts of the immortal sect orthodoxies sucked in a breath of cold air and said in shock, "He's only a void immortal. He killed a true immortal in this state." Just how heaven-defying is the heavenly tribulation this guy attracted? What was important was not Su Yan's strength, but that they were shocked by the strength of the heavenly tribulation. Even a true immortal was destroyed in body and soul. It was obvious how heaven-defying the heavenly tribulation he attracted was. He attacked again. He rushed toward the other true immortal experts and imprisoned 8 true immortals in the heavenly tribulation. This lunatic really doesn't know how serious the consequences are. The world was shocked. Many experts who were watching the battle through the space-time treasured mirror changed their expressions. Then, the path to heaven changed color. In this space-time wormhole, boundless tribulations flowed. Endless lightning brewed, accompanied by heavenly winds, immortal flames, drifting blood rain. In short, at the source of the heavenly tribulation, strange phenomena filled the sky. Boundless tribulations fell, drowning the space-time wormhole, and then continued to move downwards. Downwards, it overturned. Boom! Heaven and earth trembled. The killing tribulation was endless. Nothing could be seen in the direction of the source. Only thick lightning and blazing immortal flames could be seen in the sky. Accompanied by the whistling of the heavenly winds, it was as if it was turning into a life-forbidden zone. This was very terrifying. Even from far away, the onlookers could see the intensity of the storm. Each of them had a headache. If they were in the middle of the heavenly tribulation, they would definitely be blasted into ashes. This heavenly tribulation enveloped 8 true immortals, causing the heavenly tribulation to be violent. A sea of lightning covered the mountains and rivers, crushing everything in its path. Ah! Miserable wails, one after another, exploded. Although the scene shown by the space-time treasured mirror could not see the situation inside the heavenly tribulation, there was an explosion of immortal energy, accompanied by a bloody light that dyed the sky red. ****starred. The upper echelons of sky bamboo were so angry that their hearts trembled and their eyes turned red. The true immortals of their clan in the 10,000 clan battlefield were quite limited. In order to suppress Xia Kunlun and the others, a total of 10 true immortals had been mobilized. Now, several of them had already fallen. If the 10 true immortal lineages fell, the consequences would be unimaginable. The space-time wormhole they created might be invaded by outsiders. Although Xia Kunlun is a void immortal, he can't hold on for too long under such a powerful heavenly tribulation. It will definitely end soon. Sky Bamboo was certain that Xia Kunlun was transcending the tribulation of true immortals. However, with 9 true immortals undergoing the tribulation together, he would definitely not be able to hold on until the end. The surviving true immortals might still be saved. However, their self-consolation did not last for long. Boom! The vast sea of lightning filled the sky, and the momentum became more and more terrifying. The place of tribulation transcendence, chaotic scenes of gods and demons. A figure bathed in blood erupted with the most powerful combat strength, attacking the rolling lightning of the heavenly tribulation. He kept waving his fists, enduring the torture of life, the burning of the immortal flames, and the tearing of the heavenly winds. Ah! In the end, Su Yen released a great roar, his aura powerful and intimidating. In a short period of time, he transformed into the 3 Pure Ones, his entire body surging out, possessing an unrivaled peerless spirit. Kill! He roared. The 3 figures shone at the same time, their aura surging, bombarding the heavenly tribulation until it exploded. It was as if an unrivaled emperor had appeared, issuing a challenge to the heavens. He wanted to bear the most powerful great tribulation. He felt that it wasn't strong enough. Under the tempering of the heavenly tribulation, he felt his own life essence boiling, going crazy, but it was extremely difficult to strengthen, extremely difficult to push it out. Still not enough. He roared at the heavenly tribulation, demanding an even more powerful trial. He wanted to borrow the tempering of the heavenly tribulation to reopen the path of life essence evolution. This lunatic, he's a lunatic. The several true immortals who were still alive were terrified. Who exactly was he? He dared to provoke the heavenly tribulation, demanding an even more powerful great tribulation. Especially his transformation into the 3 Pure Ones, it was terrifying beyond compare. Could it be that Xia Kunlun, the imperishable body, and the young Devil King were the same person? When they thought of this, they felt despair. If it really was as they guessed, then this would shock the entire world. At the same time, it also indicated that history's most powerful divine ability, one chi into 3 Pure Ones. Honglong. From this moment on, great changes were born. Within the bottomless heavenly tribulation, a terrifying great tribulation immediately surged. What was this? Primal chaos flowed out like a sea, engulfing the sea of stars, destroying the heavens, destroying everything. Everything within a range of 1,000,000 li was reduced to scorched earth without any life. This was the most powerful great primal chaos tribulation descending into the world, bringing with it the supreme judgment to kill Su Yen. Chapter 1492. The Chaos Tribulation was one of the most powerful heavenly tribulations. Once it descended, it was equivalent to the power of heavenly punishment, capable of destroying the world. Generally speaking, such heavenly tribulations were rare. Only heaven-defying geniuses could trigger the strongest trial of the Chaos Tribulation. If they couldn't survive it, their bodies and souls would be destroyed. But if they could survive it, they could reap a shocking fortune. Chaos, the entire space-time wormhole was covered by chaos, stirring up a destructive storm that swept across the vast mountains and rivers, causing a great tremor. So many true immortals were caught in it, causing the heavenly tribulations to change dramatically, giving birth to the strongest chaos tribulation. The heavenly bamboo lineage is finished. They've suffered so many casualties. These are 10 true immortals. Once they die in the heavenly punishment, their lineage's influence in the 10,000-tribe battlefield will be greatly reduced. What kind of immortal orthodoxy is an immortal orthodoxy without a true immortal? Some people mocked and ridiculed. They were not on good terms with the heavenly bamboo bloodline. Now that they saw them in trouble, they immediately sneered. Under the most powerful tribulation, even this expert related to the heavenly court bloodline will nurse a grievance. This is the trial of primal chaos. Who can make it through? It was a shocking scene. Since the opening of the 10,000 tribe battlefield, there had been heaven-defying geniuses who had bathed in the strongest tribulations. Some survived and some died. In short, the number of survivors was limited. But the chaos tribulation of the true immortal realm was even more shocking. Once it struck, the sky would be overturned, the sun would sink and the moon would fall. It was terrifying beyond compare. This is heaven-defying. The onlookers in the distant worlds were terrified. A group of Sien people's true immortals were entrenched. They wanted to join forces with the heavenly bamboo lineage to suppress the young Devil King. But they didn't expect the heavenly bamboo lineage to forbid them from entering. This annoyed the Sien people. After all, to the heavenly bamboo lineage, this place was related to their primogenitor's fortune land. They couldn't let any outsiders near this resource mystic realm. Should I be glad or happy? The three Sien people's true immortals sneered. Although the young Devil King had disappeared again, it was still a good thing that Ingjie, who was related to him, died. However, they regretted that they could not find the young Devil King again through Xia Kunlun. In any case, the chaos heavenly tribulation had already descended upon the world. Bolts of lightning interwoven with the immortal Tao of primordial chaos descended, crushing everything in their path. You will die a horrible death. The true immortals of the sky bamboo bloodline who were suffering tribulation howled in despair. There was no way for them to survive. It was difficult for them to resist. The rolling chaos heavenly tribulation tore apart their bodies. The terrifying power of judgment cruelly crushed down on their life energy. One after another, the true immortals screamed. At the moment of death, their hearts were filled with unwillingness. Now, they only wanted to find out who Xia Kunlun was. However, even when they died, Su Yen did not say a single word. These true immortals went on their way with endless unwillingness, their bodies and souls destroyed. Boom. Similarly, Su Yen didn't have it easy either. There was no place for him in the vast chaotic calamity. Everything exploded. Along with the destructive chaotic luster, it cruelly suppressed Su Yen. In a single exchange, Su Yan's three avatars trembled violently and were sent flying. The three avatars showed signs of being destroyed at the same time. Roar! Su Yan's blood-stained hair danced in the wind. His three avatars shone at the same time. In the extreme eruption, they fused and recombined. In an instant, Su Yan's aura changed. The Qi three pure ones fused briefly, and he seemed to have turned into a true immortal. He emanated an unparalleled divine might. In the chaos, he exploded. An aura that was enough to make the world tremble was released. Su Yen had turned into a peak void immortal. His body emitted a towering radiance. It was as if a universe was blooming. Along with the aura of the beginning of all things, it erupted wildly. Kill! Su Yen laughed maniacally. With a wild and domineering aura and a storm that could destroy everything, he brandished his fist and charged toward the chaotic calamity. Under the starry sky, above the universe, chaos flowed and killing intent descended. Only one person was like an eternal and indestructible god-fiend. His battle blood burned as he unleashed his most powerful attacks toward the chaotic calamity. Dong, 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 almost every punch drew blood. Su Yan's entire body was covered by chaotic lightning. Only his body was indestructible. He forcefully endured the crushing and judgment of the chaos. He wanted to kill his way to an eternal and indestructible path. However, the phenomenon of the chaotic calamity becoming more and more intense and shocking. The huge space-time wormhole seemed to have manifested 3,000 godfiends. The immortal Tao laws descended and laid down a deadly order. Thousands of layers fell and suppressed Su Yen. Su Yan's primordial spirit trembled. He had sensed a great danger. However, he was not afraid at all. Instead, his blood was boiling. This was the path to becoming stronger. There was no need to be afraid. He wanted to kill his way out and become an invincible void immortal. In the future, he would dominate a space-time wormhole and obtain the strongest seat. Then, in the 10,000 tribes battlefield, Su Yen would be able to become a powerful true immortal in a short time. Come! I want to become stronger. No one can stop me. I want to strengthen the essence of my life and achieve my strongest path. Come, let's kill our way to the immortal realm and become invincible. Su Yan's black hair danced wildly. His energy soared into the sky. His cold eyes were burning with the flames of battle. In the chaotic world, Su Yan unleashed his strongest attack. He took the initiative to face the attack and endured the cruelest test. At that instant, the two true immortals of the heavenly bamboo lineage fell apart too. Before they died, they saw how terrifying Su Yen was. They saw an invincible young man in his prime. They even saw the initial fist, the force of reincarnation, the path of calamity, the immeasurable palm, and the three pure ones. A series of strongest secret arts were unleashed. Su Yen was like a golden god-fiend fighting against the heavens and earth. This was the indestructible body, the legendary supreme treasure body. Who are you? They went on their way with unwillingness and despair. Who were they going to turn into in the end? Before they died, they had a feeling that he might also be part of the future monarch ranking contest. The chaos tribulation isn't over yet. This is ridiculous. I saw immortal glows exploding one after another. There's no doubt that the 10 true immortals of the heavenly bamboo lineage were killed. None of them survived. This is unbelievable. He killed 10 true immortals just by overcoming the tribulation. The heavenly bamboo lineage is going to vomit blood. Even though the experts that died were not peak true immortals, but those who had just reached the true immortal realm, they were still crucial in the future contest of the 10,000 tribes battlefield. But now the 10 true immortals had died in battle. Bastard! The Qingshan continent. The entire continent had almost fallen. The progenitors were enraged. Who exactly did they offend? Why did their tribe have to go through such a tragedy? It's definitely related to the Xianwang universe. They are here for revenge, for revenge. Zhu Lihui was regretful. They had suffered a great loss because of Bamboo Moon. They had poked a huge hornet's nest. Zhu Lihui, look at what you've done. The various tribes already knew about this matter. The tribe leader was furious. For the sake of a sky bamboo dharma seed, they had lost too many things. What was even more laughable was that they still did not know who the enemy was and who was protecting Zhu Yu. Pass down the order immediately. The heavenly bamboo tribe leader said, we can't afford to lose the primogenitor's place of death. Send people from the other spacetime wormholes to the primogenitor's place of death. No matter the price, we must suppress Xia Kunlun. If necessary, let the Xian people join in and suppress Xia Kunlun. The matter was getting out of hand. The chaos tribulation had been brewing for such a long time, and Xia Kunlun was still undergoing the tribulation. This meant that the problem was serious. He might become a peak true immortal. Once such a ruthless person was born, it would be a devastating blow to the heavenly bamboo lineage. Moreover, there was hope that the primogenitor's place of death could be opened a second time. They still had a chance to start anew. The tribe leader's order was quickly passed down to the heavenly bamboo lineage. It caused quite a commotion in the various battlefields. Meanwhile, the chaos tribulation had lasted for almost an entire day. It had to be said that the giants of the immortal sex were slightly shocked. This was the chaos tribulation, and its power hadn't decreased even after the death of the 10 true immortals. This meant that Xia Kunlun had the potential to be strong enough. This was very impressive. They also wanted to know the specific progress of the Tribulation Land. Unfortunately, no matter how powerful the space-time mirror was, it couldn't see what was going on inside the Tribulation Land. Su Yen had been fighting for an entire day. His body was covered in blood and wounds. He was knocked away by the chaos tribulation again and again. However, Su Yen got up again and rebuilt his body with the heaven patching technique. Again. He was bathed in blood. His ferocious aura surged. He stretched his arms and tore apart the layers of chaotic lightning, attacking the deepest part of the tribulation land. Boom! At this moment, the chaos tribulation surged again, covering 1,000,000 miles of the chaos zone and forming a giant chaotic lightning vortex. It was like two giant chaotic hands that covered the area and attacked Su Yen. The all-encompassing chaotic attack was enough to destroy the overlords and the supreme life forms. Under the peerless suppression, Su Yan's body was about to collapse and explode. The most powerful judgment was like a whip that was interrogating the path of life. "I'm going to break through, break through." His eyes shone fiercely and his primordial spirit let out a roar. When his body was about to explode, astonishing vitality flowed in his body. A layer of shackles was crushed. Su Yan's aura was surging endlessly. His body was like a sleeping dragon, quickly growing and breaking the shackles. He changed in an instant, like a divine devil that had broken the shackles and opened the deepest level of his life essence. It was as if he had swallowed the rare life essence evolution fluid. Ha ha ha! Chapter 1493. It was as if a god and a devil were dancing wildly in this world. The chaos calamity that filled the sky poured down in full force. The astronomical phenomena were frightening. The spectators in the distant worlds all had goosebumps, feeling disbelief. How could it be so strong? The chaos calamity's form was continuously becoming stronger. What exactly was happening? Was it the one undergoing the calamity that was defying the heavens? Or was it the chaos calamity that was almost impossible to pass? The world's understanding of this strongest chaos calamity was limited. They didn't know what its strongest form was. People couldn't see clearly what was happening inside, but some people saw a blazing light burning. It was blurry and difficult to see what was happening. This light was Su Yen. He was burning fiercely in the chaos calamity. His body was suffused with a terrifying devouring power. This was a shocking life aura that filled the air. It devoured everything and had an extremely far-reaching effect. Boom! The moment Su Yan's chest rose and fell, the sound of muffled thunder rumbled. It was deafening, and the space-time all around was fluctuating. Following that, the space-time enveloped by the chaos calamity was drained of energy. It was all swallowed by Su Yen. Visible to the naked eye, bolt after bolt of chaos lightning was swallowed by Su Yen into his body. They were all turned into great tonics, replenishing the energy his body needed to evolve. Of course, this wasn't enough. It was very difficult to satisfy Su Yan's evolution. The path of life's evolution required a foundation that exceeded the world's understanding. Although this lightning tribulation was Su Yan's immortal tribulation, to him, it was a life and death tempering path that tore apart the essence of life's evolution. His expression was calm. He took out a large number of heavenly treasures and took out all the immortal Tao stones he had. He refined them all to replenish the energy his body needed. During the process, Su Yan's expression was pained. Because the experience was very unusual, the heat was unbearable. His body seemed to be burning. This was the path of life's evolution. Su Yan's body was about to fall apart, and he even had to endure the lightning strikes. It had to be said that it was too difficult. However, by supporting himself bit by bit, he could accumulate strength and strengthen his physical body. Su Yen had obviously gone through astonishing changes during the process. Nourished by the abundant heavenly materials and earthly treasures, the treasures in his body were opened one after another, making his body even more dazzling and shocking. His blood surged out of his body and spread around his body, making him look like a golden god who was in charge of the heavenly tribulation. Of course, the most important thing was that his indestructible body had finally reached the small success stage. Instantly, Su Yan's entire flesh shell turned golden and dazzling. He was like an indestructible god of war standing in the chaos heavenly tribulation realm. His powerful physique destroyed many of the chaos lightning bolts that struck him. So strong! Su Yan was shocked. This was the indestructible body, a supreme physique at the small success stage. Once one possessed it in the immortal realm, they would have the shocking combat strength to kill true immortals. Even in the 10,000 races battlefield where geniuses filled the skies, there were only a limited number of such people. The indestructible body glowed. Not only did Su Yan's injuries improve, but his blood essence also became vigorous. Soon, the indestructible blood essence erupted, and his vitality was greatly improved. His physique was strengthening, and the vitality leaking out was vast and magnificent. There was no doubt that the life essence evolution and the indestructible body were activated almost at the same time, forging Su Yan's powerful physique and making his combat strength soar. He could definitely defeat true immortals with his physical body alone. I've finally reached this step. Su Yan clenched his fists tightly. A powerful aura leaked out, covering the sky and covering the earth as it surged in all directions. It destroyed a large amount of primal chaos lightning that struck down. Of course, even if the primal chaos lightning struck him, it would be very difficult for it to cause much damage to Su Yan. There was no doubt that a small success stage supreme physique was equivalent to a great killing weapon, tough and indestructible. His long golden hair draped over his shoulders like a golden god, overlooking the universe and filled with the strongest aura of his generation. Hong. However, in the next moment, Su Yan's body transformed once more. It was originally the indestructible body, but now it had completely changed. It was solemn and dignified, turning into a Zhang 6 golden body. It was like the Buddhist Dali Vajra, intimidating the world. Indestructible body, Zhang 6 golden body. Two supreme physiques were gathered on Su Yan's body. It sounded like a fantasy story, but Su Yan indeed possessed them. In the next moment, his physique transformed once more, producing a 5-colored treasure light. It was filled with a divine light that could destroy all things, and it could easily sweep down the great stars that filled the sky. What kind of physique was this? Su Yan was shocked. A new physique had appeared, and it was somewhat vague and mysterious. There was even a type of obstruction that made it difficult to unearth the greatest treasure. It made it difficult for Su Yan to completely grasp this type of physique. He felt that once this type of physique erupted, it could sweep down a bit of energy matter. Perhaps it could even sweep down a great killing weapon. Was it the same as being impervious to all techniques? It was very abnormal and outrageous. Hong. In the next moment, Su Yan's aura changed once more. He grew 2 heads and squeezed out 4 arms from his body. Su Yan angrily roared and turned into 3 heads and 6 arms. He was filled with the power of an unrivaled demonic god, shocking the world and making ghosts and gods weep. In a short period of time, he evolved 4 supreme physiques, and he even continued to evolve other supreme physiques. Bloodline. At this moment, Su Yan was shocked to discover that all of this originated from the influence of his bloodline. His bloodline was very special, and he even discovered that there were even greater treasures that could be unearthed. Perhaps he could evolve an even more terrifying physique. What was he going to evolve? Emperor physique? Immortal physique? Or other invincible physiques? In other words, Su Yan could evolve all the supreme physiques in the heavens. However, his bloodline talent was suppressed by the netherworld sea demon, so he couldn't display its strongest effect. Su Yan was deeply shaken. Just what kind of misfortune had his bloodline experienced? Perhaps only the prehistoric Big Brother would understand. These used to be mine, but I lost them. My talent changed, but now I have it bit by bit. I have to cultivate it again and experience the difficulties. I should thank the netherworld's sea demon. Su Yan whispered. If he was in a perfect state and his strongest talent erupted, he could have everything. But Su Yan didn't experience any process, now. He was enjoying everything that he obtained from risking his life. This was karma, this was a brilliant life. Although it was bloody, it was worth it. In the next moment, Su Yan's human aura dissipated. He turned into a normal person. His figure was tall and straight, and his black hair draped over his shoulders. He stood between heaven and earth. Although he had lost all kinds of physique phenomena, his physique was still a supreme physique. It was filled with a shocking pressure that shook the world. No matter how my physique changes, it will always return to the origin. Su Yan coldly shouted, "Perhaps this is the charm of the beginning sutra. I am the universe is me, and I am the universe. The source of all power originates from the source of the body." Boom! Su Yan stepped on the sky. The moment his aura leaked out, he charged towards the chaos tribulation. The heavenly tribulation had not completely dissipated, and it was already very difficult for it to pose a threat to Su Yan. After all, he was a void immortal now, not a true immortal. No matter how strong the void immortal's heavenly tribulation was, it couldn't be too heaven-defying. Now, he rose from the ground and charged towards the chaos tribulation, launching a fierce attack. Boom! In an instant, the calm chaos heavenly tribulation rumbled and spun violently. It was like a chaos millstone that destroyed the world, forming a supreme suppression that wanted to stop Su Yan. "What belongs to me, come here!" Su Yan roared into the sky. Golden blood rushed out from the top of his head, as if he had transformed into another Su Yan, charging towards the violent heavenly tribulation. Universe Initial Fist, a divine ability created by Su Yan. A figure formed by the light of blood essence was magnificent and peerless. It overturned everything. The lightning that filled the sky exploded, and a huge hole was formed in the chaos tribulation. Within Su Yan's body, the qi and blood that rose was too dense. It destroyed everything and directly opened the primal chaos heavenly tribulation. It was truly shocking. Who in the past had such divine strength to open the strongest heavenly tribulation of their generation? Boom! Su Yan rushed up, stretched out his hands, and tore apart the chaos tribulation. In the center of the chaos tribulation, there were rolling chaos treasured liquid. In the strongest heavenly tribulation, treasured liquid would be formed. Only the unique environment of the 10,000 races battlefield could form heavenly tribulation treasured liquid, which was equivalent to the highest reward for the challenger. Now, Su Yan had torn apart the chaos heavenly tribulation and entered the center of the heavenly tribulation, bathing in the rolling chaos treasured liquid. He stretched out his hand, scooped up drops of chaos treasured liquid, and quickly sealed them. This was the rare treasured liquid born from the strongest heavenly tribulation. It was incomparably precious and could evolve the essence of life. It was of great help to Su Yan. 1. Su Yan's aura was even more shocking. His cold eyes shot out divine light in all directions. His tall and straight body surged with blood essence like a tide. Even his primordial spirit was nourished by the chaos-treasured liquid, becoming more stable and powerful. In short, this thing was of great help to Su Yan. It healed his injuries in a short time and pushed his aura to stand at the peak of his generation. It's over. Su Yan's harvest was too great. In the state of human Tao as one, his aura shook the galaxy, shook the stars, and his magic power overflowed. His peerless aura surged, and rolling lightning fell one after another. Su Yan directly refined it in a domineering manner, replenishing his accumulation. Breakthrough. What was even more ridiculous was that Su Yan erupted once again. He directly broke through to the 9th level of the immortal realm. This was an astonishing increase in strength, and it was completely a result of his accumulation. Su Yan's hair fluttered wildly, and his aura swallowed a bull. It was magnificent beyond compare. Ha ha ha! Su Yen looked up to the sky and laughed. He had succeeded, becoming a peerless void immortal. Bathing in the chaos-treasured liquid, he was almost at the peak of the immortal realm. Then Su Yen had also reached the time to fight for the position of the strongest in the space-time wormhole. From this moment on, the layers of chaos lightning began to dim and return to nothingness. No one realized that Su Yen had almost refined the entire chaos tribulation. In short, his foundation stood at the peak. Although he looked a little miserable and was covered in blood, his essence, chi, and spirit were too vigorous. Kill! Just as Su Yen appeared in the eyes of the world that had been reduced to scorched earth was covered by a shocking killing light. In the distant world, a large number of experts charged over, their eyes filled with bone-chilling killing intent. Another 5 true immortals of the sky bamboo lineage had come. Even the Xian people had sent 3 true immortals. A peerless treasure sword was unsheathed. The Xian people moved quickly. They wanted to kill Su Yen. After all, he had just finished transcending the tribulation, and he must have been severely injured. Now was the best time to kill him. The killing sword was bone-piercing and bright. It was too fast. It was so fast that it was difficult to track its movement. In an instant, the Xian people expert wielded the killing sword and stabbed it toward Su Yan's head. He wanted to pierce through his frontal bone. What a pity! It was a shocking scene. The heaven-defying Ingjie had endured the strongest chaos tribulation. Was he going to die just like that? Chapter 1494. The peerless killing sword spat out sword rays as it approached Su Yen. This was a fatal blow. The chaos tribulation had just ended, so Xia Kunlun must have been severely injured and exhausted. This was the best time to kill him. After all, Su Yen had survived the chaos tribulation. Once he recovered, he would definitely be a world-shaking true immortal. Such a character would never be allowed to grow, nor would he be given any chance to breathe. Well done. Who's attacking? We should reward them handsomely. In the outside world, at the various entrances of the 10,000 tribes battlefield, many experts from the immortal sects were watching the battle. Xian Tyran of the Xian people came with a cold expression. Since Xia Kunlun was close to the young Devil King, it was very likely that he had the bloodline of the Celestial Court. In the 10,000 tribes battlefield, there were too few top-notch true immortals. Now, all the Void Immortals wanted to dominate the space-time wormhole and fight for the strongest seat. Hence, right now, no one would attempt to break through to the immortal Dao realm. Otherwise, they would miss out on the greatest opportunity in the myriad tribes battlefield. Xia Kunlun's breakthrough had completely exceeded their expectations. Similarly, he had definitely been forced into a corner, which was why he had opened up the true immortal path. I'm not sure, an elder of the Xian people said with a smile, but once we capture this kid, we should be able to find more clues about the young Devil King. Maybe we can dig out the big fish that is the young Devil King through him. That's right. Xian Tyran's expression was cold. He hated the Celestial Court to the core. Xian Huiyu died in the Xianwang universe, and his clone was also killed by Su Yen. Although Su Yen died in the darkness in the end, Xian Tyran still couldn't let it go after all these years. There was a ball of fire in his heart that he had nowhere to vent. But what about this young Devil King? He had caused a great loss to the Xian people. He had to be captured alive. Whoosh! The killing sword blazed even brighter. The sword ray that it spat out had already sputtered onto Su Yan's forehead. Some people suspected that the killing power of the sword ray alone was enough to severely injure Xia Kunlun again. Bam! However, what made everyone tremble was that the billowing sword chi hit Su Yan's forehead with a sonorous sound. It was as if it had hit a divine iron and was indestructible. This was the supreme treasure body state. There was no need to transform at all. Su Yan's body was extremely tough, comparable to an immortal realm treasure. Even if the killing sword pierced Su Yan's forehead, it wouldn't cause much damage. Finally, the shocking scene fell into everyone's eyes. The killing sword pressed against Su Yan's forehead, but it did not break apart. Even though there was a trace of blood, it was blocked. Everyone was stupefied. Just how powerful was this physical body? It blocked the piercing of the immortal killing sword. Su Yan's eyes were cold. His long black hair danced in the wind. He stood between heaven and earth. His forehead shone, blocking the killing sword. The soul light that surged out shook the killing sword, and the Xian people's true immortal who wielded the killing sword also began to tremble. He felt that his primordial spirit and Su Yan's primordial spirit could not be compared. It was like a wild beast that had encountered a ferocious beast, only qualified to crawl and tremble. Boom! In an instant, Su Yan's body came back to life. Disturbed by the killing sword, it surged with a shocking power that illuminated the world. It was so dazzling that people couldn't even open their eyes. Heaven and earth were trembling, and the sun and moon were wailing. It was a shocking scene. That person was too terrifying. Just the 10,000 layers of divine light that flowed out of his body had shaken the Xian people's true immortals to the point that their qi and blood were in a mess. No! Then, he felt fear. That figure charged straight at him. The blazing body burned with holy fire, bringing with it an unparalleled aura. It broke the killing intent that was pressing against his forehead. Moreover, it pounced on him one after another. Terrifying aura spread out, and everything was trembling. The Xian people's true immortals also went berserk. They erupted with their strongest power, using the immortal Tao order to protect their bodies. They also evolved great remarkable powers, wanting to stop his barbaric charge. But the moment they collided, the scene was terrifying. The immortal Tao order exploded, and it was like a thunderbolt had struck the Xian people's true immortal's body. His entire body was torn to pieces, and then it exploded. A streak of bloody light sputtered. That figure shattered the true immortal's body and charged forward, emitting a powerful aura that suppressed the world. Everyone was silent. The Xian people's true immortal had been killed by him. Too violent, too barbaric. How terrifying! Many people were horrified. Cold qi surged all over their bodies and seeped out of their bodies. The onlookers were all trembling with fear. How powerful was this person? He had destroyed the Xian people's true immortal in a single blow. He was too powerful and outrageous. One had to know that this was an expert of the Xian people. Such domineering means of obliteration were truly unparalleled in the world. Gao Qi, one of the 3 Xian people's true immortals, was killed. The other 2 true immortals were so furious that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The leader, a female true immortal at the second firmament, was extremely furious. She said with grief and indignation, "Gao Qi, you bastard! Are you tired of living?" Su Yan's cold expression gave the 4 true immortals of the heavenly bamboo lineage a headache. He had survived the chaos tribulation without any loss. Moreover, he was even stronger than before. This was beyond their expectations. The killing intent in his eyes grew even stronger. Xian people. Su Yan looked down at the 6 true immortals. Of course, his gaze was focused on the 2 Xian people's true immortals. He emanated a bone-chilling killing intent as he said coldly, "All of you deserve to die. Bastard, hand over your life." Xian Shinran was enraged. Although she was a female true immortal, her aura was quite shocking. She was at the second firmament of the true immortal realm. Her aura far exceeded that of the other true immortals present. Once she unleashed it, her entire body flowed with earth-shattering immortal might. Attack together! Seeing Xian Shinran leading the charge, the other 5 true immortals moved as well. Xia Kunlun's strength was undeniable. However, he was only one person. Could the 6 true immortals join forces and defeat Xia Kunlun, who had just stepped into the true immortal realm? On the scorched battlefield, immortal path storms raged between heaven and earth. Tens of thousands of storms charged toward Su Yan, and began to suppress him. Whoosh! However, the figure they were targeting had thunderous footsteps that caused the universe to explode. He completely ignored the 4 true immortals of the Sky Bamboo bloodline and charged at Xian Shinran. Suppress. The 5 true immortals were enraged. They could see Su Yan's intentions. Wasn't he looking down on them too much? Almost instantly, the energy of the 5 true immortals surged, erupting with their strongest combat strength. They evolved great magical powers that blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they charged towards Su Yan to suppress him. Get lost. Along the way, Su Yan's aura erupted. In the state of human Tao as one, he stood at the peak of the void immortal realm. His entire body emanated boundless ferocious aura. How terrifying! Who is it? The spectators in the distance were shocked. The figure charging over was too domineering. His golden blood was exuberant. Just the influence of his physical body alone surpassed that of the true immortals present. Even when he stood at the peak of his power, the sky darkened. Following that, golden blood flowed out of his body, drowning the entire space. He was like an invincible golden god as he let out a loud roar. All of you, get lost. Su Yan's aura swallowed the starry sky. He wanted to traverse the entire space-time wormhole. With a roar, the mountains and rivers were shattered. The sun and moon were about to fall. The deafening roar echoed throughout the world, shocking the world and making ghosts and gods weep. One after another, the Xian people's true immortals trembled. Blood flowed out of their mouths and noses. Their guts were about to burst. Just how powerful was he? Even the true immortals could not resist him. Their bodies were about to be crushed by his roar. Along the way, all the energy and matter in his way exploded. In Su Yan's eyes, there were only the Xian people's experts. His body seemed to have transformed into an immortal sword that cut through all suppression. He waved his fist and punched at Xian Shinran. Can't I stop him? Su Yan's awakening made Xian Shinran somewhat terrified. However, she was not afraid. After all, she was a second heaven true immortal. She had fully recovered. Immortal path runes surged in her body. Accompanied by the chanting of sutras, her combat strength soared to its peak. Don't fight him head-on! Another Xian people's true immortal cried out. Although Xian Shinran was powerful, Xia Kunlun's body was too ridiculous. If she was not careful, she would be injured. However, it was too late. Xian Shinran had already charged forward. She formed a fist seal and evolved a great ability that collided with Su Yan's fist. Boom! A loud explosion sounded, shattering the universe. The two fists collided with a mighty momentum. It was like the beating of a divine drum, spreading far and wide. There was also a splatter of bloody light. It was very dense and dyed the void red. In an instant, Xian Shinran trembled. She was suffocating. She felt like she was being suppressed by an invincible being. Her powerful life force was about to be obliterated. Even the sutras she circulated were completely suppressed. Her entire aura began to weaken. Kill! Su Yan roared. He unleashed an even more ferocious punch that covered the sky and suppressed forward. He punched again and again. His entire body surged with overflowing golden chi and blood, accompanied by exuberant immortal matter and powerful primordial spirit aura. The 3 types of energy merged together, causing the energy fluctuations that Su Yan emitted to be peerlessly powerful. Boom! Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind. The divine might that erupted was magnificent and vast. In the end, it reached the peak of the sky and began to merge with the space-time wormhole. People found it hard to imagine how powerful he was. They even felt that he didn't seem like a true immortal, but an invincible young king. In the end, his fist completely erupted. Blood splattered in the world, and the void exploded. Xian Shinran's fist exploded. Her powerful true immortal body was also obliterated by Su Yan's domineering life force. She exploded into a bloody mist. No, Xian Shinran's primordial spirit fled in fear. She didn't expect her body to be destroyed. She felt that Xia Kunlun had a supreme treasure body. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such powerful killing power. Unfortunately, before her primordial spirit could fly out, it was torn apart by the divine light that bloomed from Su Yan's cold eyes. Everyone was stunned. The second true immortal had been killed by him in a bloody manner. Even Xian Shinran, who was a second firmament true immortal, had been beaten into a bloody mist. The true immortals of the Xian people are too useless. Su Yan's words were cold. His cold eyes shone with divine light. Vast amounts of blood essence rose from the top of his head and pierced through the space-time wormhole. At this moment, the wormhole finally underwent a change. A blurry figure slowly appeared. As it moved toward the great region, it began to appear. Heaven and earth, heed my command. Urgent as the law. Come quickly. Chapter 1495. Even the sky collapsed, unable to seal Su Yan's aura. A drop of essence blood pierced through the sky and rushed into the space-time wormhole. Without a doubt, one had to be at the immortal realm to be the strongest. Once one surpassed this realm, the space-time wormhole wouldn't record it. Currently, there were only a few hundred space-time wormholes in the entire 10,000 tribes battlefield where the Dharma idol of an unparalleled prodigy could be seen. Of course, it would take at least a year to completely appear in the space-time wormhole. During this time, they would also have to withstand the challenges of various top Overlord. Once they failed, their spots would be taken away. The competition for the strongest 10,000 spots was too cruel. Once they succeeded, they would definitely enjoy the baptism of supreme creation. In the process, they would also open up a super-powerful immortal path and enter the true immortal realm. In fact, there were many prodigies and overlords who were qualified, but they didn't want to stand out too much for fear of being targeted by invincible kings. Su Yan was surprised. He looked at the space-time wormhole and caught a feeling from the majestic space-time, urging him to merge with the space-time wormhole. Was it about to start? However, Su Yan wasn't in a hurry. He still hadn't figured out where to start the fight for supremacy. He still wanted to go to the immortal tribe, the Odd Heaven sect, or the underworld to fight for supremacy in the space-time wormholes occupied by other factions. As long as he could kill the unparalleled prodigy of the Xian people, Su Yan would be qualified to be one of the top 10,000. Now, the images shown in the space-time wormhole were blurry and obscure. It was difficult for people to see the changes clearly. "Who are you?" The only remaining true immortal of the Xian people shouted angrily. The ending was too different from what they had imagined. They had thought that by suppressing Xia Kunlun, they could interrogate the origin of the young Devil King. But now, Xia Kunlun alone was going to sweep the field. The Xian people had lost 2 true immortals, and the remaining one was furious. Shameful, too shameful. They had taken the initiative to attack, but they were beaten to a pulp. He even realized that this wasn't Xia Kunlun's strongest state, because this person hadn't unleashed the power of an immortal path since the beginning. Then, what level was his strongest combat power at? It was simply unimaginable. The person who killed you. Su Yan's cold eyes stared at the remaining genuine immortal of the Xian people. Compared to the hatred of the Xian people, Tianzhu was nothing. He stuck close to the ground and dove down. Along the way, sand and pebbles were sent flying. The sky shook and the earth trembled. The vast expanse of scorched earth rumbled along with him. Not good. The purple-robed true immortal's face changed drastically. Su Yan was simply too decisive. He was completely unscrupulous as he charged straight at him. As powerful as he was, even though he was a true immortal, when he saw Su Yan charging towards him, his heart trembled in fear. He growled, "Let's attack together and stop him. The experts of our race will be here soon. Someone will suppress this person." The 4 true immortals of the Sky Bamboo lineage were well aware of how terrifying Xia Kunlun was. Therefore, the moment he charged over, the 5 true immortals immediately joined forces. Boom! The scorched earth trembled violently. The violent energy fluctuations attracted everyone's attention. In the next moment, everyone was shocked. In this vast spacetime, a terrifying vision was born. The blood-red light covered the sun, and a vast aura of calamity rose. As blood-red runes bloomed, it was soul-stirring. The 5 true immortals were engulfed and covered by the blood-red light. It was difficult to see their figures clearly. In the next moment, a figure rose from the ground, surging with an even more domineering combat strength. He controlled the blood-red world and pushed an earth-shattering power towards the Cien people's true immortal. Pft! The true immortal screamed and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. It was difficult for him to stop Su Yan. Even if the 5 true immortals joined forces, Su Yan's divine abilities and secret techniques were superb. He temporarily suppressed the 4 true immortals. Ah! A shrill scream exploded. This was a shocking scene. Su Yan had beheaded the true immortal. With a flick of his finger, he blasted apart the head of the 3rd true immortal of the Cien people. The blood-red light that filled the sky also retreated. The world regained its tranquility. The smell of blood was very thick. The heavens above and the earth below were silent. There was only one figure who was majestic and imposing. He carried the head of the Cien people in his hand. He was extremely tall and flowed with world-shocking power that made people's hearts tremble. What a terrifying young man! Who exactly is he? The spectators in the distance trembled with fear. The 3 true immortals of the Cien people had all been killed. They were even killed with bloody and violent method. This couldn't help but make people feel apprehensive. Just how powerful was this person? Is it another young demon king? I heard his name is Xia Kunlun, an outer disciple of the Sky Bamboo lineage. According to the information I received, he infiltrated the Sky Bamboo lineage and stole many great fortunes. What kind of joke is this? There's such a thing? The experts gathered here were all dumbstruck. This person infiltrated the Sky Bamboo lineage and was even an outer disciple of the clan? What kind of joke was this? Was there such a ridiculous thing? Outside the 10,000 tribes battlefield, the atmosphere at some entrances was extremely oppressive. Even the peak true immortals were trembling in fear. The patriarchs of the Cien people were furious. Although they were silent, the shocking flames in their bodies burned, causing them to retreat and stay away from him. It was very obvious. The Cien people were furious. They hadn't even seen the shadow of the young demon king, but Xia Kunlun had already killed 3 true immortals of the Cien people. In fact, the most furious ones were the Sky Bamboo lineage. Their losses were too heavy. 10 true immortals were wiped out. Now, Xia Kunlun had attacked 4 immortal Dao experts. How terrifying was he? Unless an immortal Dao realm 3rd heaven expert stepped forward, no one could suppress him. Kill! Su Yan's long roar exploded. He couldn't let any of them go. With a shocking pressure, he rushed forward and fought with the 4 true immortals. Boom! In a short period of time, a peak collision erupted here. Between heaven and earth, 4 immortal Dao secret treasures were summoned, and the strongest state of the 4 true immortals erupted. It had to be said that this was very shocking. It formed a long river of immortal Dao, and the storm was monstrous. It could easily tear the entire space and time apart. This was the suppression. Su Yan's body shook a little. However, his aura became more and more ferocious. His fist was like a rainbow, and with a bang, he hammered a large furnace. The furnace immediately caved in, and then it flew out. Su Yan grunted. A large seal smashed on his back, causing Su Yan's body to stagger and almost fall. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. However, Su Yan was still. His eyes were cold as he aimed at one of the true immortals to suppress. His posture was too wild. Once he used his peak combat strength, the targeted true immortal was terrified. His protective secret treasures were sent flying, and the true immortal's body began to collapse. It's definitely a supreme treasure body, but why is there no phenomenon? What kind of constitution does he have? Sending an immortal Tao's secret treasure flying with a single fist, that must be one of the characteristics of a supreme treasure body. Even though I can't tell what kind of constitution it is definitely not simple. Everyone was in an uproar. If it wasn't for this kind of constitution, how could Su Yan withstand the immortal Tao treasure's cruel suppression? Even though his body was shaken, it really was difficult to injure his foundation. In the end, one of the 4 true immortals was killed by Su Yan. Come. He was bathed in blood and went crazy, full of heroic spirit. He looked down on the 3 true immortals, his killing intent surging. The 3 true immortals scalped, feeling alarmed. If they didn't leave now, they would all die here. However, if a single Xia Kunlun killed a true immortal of the sky bamboo lineage and forced them to flee, this would be a great humiliation for the entire clan. Hong. All of a sudden, a strange sound was heard. Su Yan's face darkened as he sensed danger. He began to retreat quickly. However, in the next moment, a heavy aura assaulted his face, as if the Milky Way of the 9 heavens was pouring down. Below, great stars of the universe were revolving, terrifying beyond compare. Suppress! A soft shout was heard. It was very soft, coming from a woman with a light temperament. She bent her finger, and the star bracelet on her snow-white wrist flew out. It instantly enlarged and became countless times more terrifying. This was a star bracelet, and 108 great stars of the universe were woven on it. It was in the form of the stars of the heavens, and it instantly suppressed. Heavens, this is the celestial star divine chain. Someone exclaimed, it's even woven with 108 stars. How extravagant! Who is it? It's her, one of the Xian people's 10 heroes, Xian Bailing. Everyone was in an uproar. This was the proud daughter of the Xian people, and also a powerful void immortal. Not only did she come, but there were also 2 true immortals by her side. If one sensed carefully, they would find that the 2 true immortals were like immortal Tao monsters. 3 layers of immortal Tao light were enough to drown out the universe. 3rd heaven immortal Tao experts, and 2 of them came at once. Everyone was shocked. The Xian people were indeed Xian people. They had already cultivated 3rd heaven true immortals, and they were not comparable to the previous true immortals. They must have taken immortal medicine, or else they would not be able to break through to the 3rd heaven of the true immortal realm in such a short time. Stop struggling. Xian Bailing's appearance was extraordinary, and her skin was snow-white. She stood high and looked down at Su Yan. She said arrogantly, the celestial star divine chain was forged by my tribe's Daluo true immortals. It is a rare treasure, and it contains the layout of the heavens. Once bound, there is no escape. She was right. This thing was extremely powerful, and Su Yan was in danger. The celestial star divine chain descended, accompanied by many great stars of the universe. When it started to rotate, its aura became violent, surrounding Su Yan and suppressing him. The power of the celestial star divine chain scattered down, making Su Yan feel as if he was carrying the blue sky. The Xian people are false immortals. His eyes were wide open as he stared at Xian Bailing. This was the genius of his tribe. Whether it was her status or identity, she surpassed Xian Hongshan. I don't care who you are. You killed my tribe's true immortals, so you can't escape death. Xian Bailing raised her sparkling chin and said arrogantly, however, if you can tell me the whereabouts of my tribe's wanted criminal, the young Devil King, I can make the decision for you and save your life. At this point, Xian Bailing's eyes emitted a bone-chilling light. The young Devil King had dealt a heavy blow to the Xian people. More than 100 top experts had died in battle, and 2 Daluo true immortals had died. They had also lost their supreme treasure, the immortal cauldron. This debt was too great. If they could capture the young Devil King alive, it would be a great contribution. Ha 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 ha, well done. Su Yen looked up to the sky and laughed. He didn't expect the Xian people to have a young false immortal, and a beautiful woman. Su Yan's beast blood boiled and his aura surged. The moment the beginning sutra was released, a vast wave of the great Tao flowed out, suppressing the stars in the sky, making them dim and unstable. What the hell is that? Suddenly, the outside trembled as they noticed that the space-time wormhole was changing. As Su Yen went berserk, the space-time wormhole gathered more and more of his aura, outlining a magnificent figure. How is this possible? When he saw that it was Su Yen who had triggered the space-time wormhole, his scalp almost exploded. Could it be that he wasn't a true immortal, but a false immortal? Even the celestial star divine chain had been broken by that person. He had used the power of the beginning of all things and the eye of heaven escape to break the field and suppress the immortal Tao. Kill! Su Yen roared and grabbed the celestial star divine chain. When he waved it, it was as if he was waving the entire starry sky. It was quite barbaric and violent. As Su Yen burst out to an astonishing state, the blurry figure standing in the space-time wormhole was like a war immortal, shining with unparalleled heavenly power, looking down on all living things and dominating the past and present. Chapter 1496. In the outside world, tens of thousands of passageways were surrounded by chaos. Experts were entrenched, and even the auras of supreme ancestors were faintly discernible. At this moment they were all startled. They stared at a certain space-time wormhole. It was as if a war immortal was being nurtured inside. A shocking figure was awakening, as if breathing the entire region. It was quite ridiculous. Another peerless prodigy is illuminating the space-time wormhole. Which race is it from? It's truly a prosperous era. In the history of the Emperor Road, it's already very impressive for a few dozen peerless prodigies to illuminate a region to appear in a month. But now, more than 100 of them have appeared. The heroes discussed heatedly. There was no doubt that a large number of these 100 would enter the top 100 in the future Emperor ranking contest. They might even try to break through to an even more terrifying rank. Let me see who it is. In a short period of time, pairs of eyes opened in the chaos, spying on the path to heaven. Without a doubt, their battle strength was quite terrifying. They could directly see the changes in the path to heaven with their heavenly eyes. In the direction of the source, the figure illuminating the region. It was becoming more and more intense, and they found out who was illuminating the region under the space-time wormhole. The celestial battle divine chain is a rare immortal treasure. I'm afraid it's a peerless genius nurtured by some immortal orthodoxy. Something's not right. He's targeting a girl. She looks familiar. She seems to be the Xian people's Xian Bailing. Everyone discussed heatedly. Some of the top void immortals were well known. There were only 2 women in the Xian people's 10 prodigies, and they were both famous heavenly prodigies. Xian Bailing was very famous. She was a female heavenly prodigy of the Xian people. Many prosperous immortal orthodoxies had brought their most outstanding disciples to the Xian people to propose marriage. Therefore, the older generation was not unfamiliar with her. But what was the situation now? The young man in the space-time wormhole was targeting Xian Bailing. Then, they were all shocked because this young man's methods were quite violent and barbaric. He grabbed the celestial battle divine chain and attacked fiercely. This was too fierce and savage. Xian Bailing was not an ordinary person. She had many protectors. Who would dare to attack her so violently? Was he not afraid of becoming a public enemy? He's not a true immortal at all. He's illuminating the great domain. He's actually, Xian Tairan and the other Xian people's old ancestors were both shocked and furious. Now that the situation had developed to this point, it was really serious. Xia Kunlun was actually not a true immortal, but a false immortal. False immortal, heavens, he is a false immortal, not a true immortal. The experts of the sky bamboo branch growled, their faces ashen. Xia Kunlun was actually a hollow immortal who had killed more than 10 true immortals in succession? What a joke! The whole world was in an uproar. Only false immortals were qualified to fuse with the space-time wormhole. In that case, Xia Kunlun was a false immortal and not a true immortal. However, a hollow immortal had killed more than 10 true immortals. Even the older generation was trembling in fear. Could it be that another peerless genius had been born in the celestial court? Boom! Su Yan's aura could devour rivers and mountains. He wielded the celestial star chains in a wild manner, and his aura became even more shocking. It was as if he was wielding a vast sea of stars that contained many great stars in the heavens. They came crashing down on Xian Bailing from all directions. This killing intent was too shocking. It was as if the galaxy had collapsed and swept through everything in its path. It was unstoppable. Xian Bailing's beautiful eyes widened. Her snow-white skin shone with divine light. She looked quite holy. However, she was flustered and exasperated. Her towering chest heaved violently. How could this be? He was only a hollow immortal, but he had suppressed the celestial star chains and even used it against her. Brat, how dare you? Xian Bailing's 2 protectors had cold expressions. After all, they were 3rd-level true immortals. Once they released their auras, they would display the shocking combat strength of the immortal Dao realm. The 2 of them were not comparable to the true immortals Su Yan had killed before. In the true immortal realm, each stage was more difficult than the last. The difference was similar to the immortal realm. When the 2 3rd-level true immortals revived, their immortal auras were released. The might forcibly suppressed the heavenly star battle divine chain, causing it to dim. It was about to be suppressed. Die. Come here, Su Yan let out a violent roar. He was like a great demon opening his cold eyes. He stared at Xian Bailing as if she was his prey. Under Su Yan's gaze, goosebumps appeared on Xian Bailing's snow-white skin. She felt disgusted and also a little shocked. To be able to reflect a space-time wormhole, he was definitely a supreme overlord. Boom! Boom! 2 loud explosions sounded. Under the shocked gazes of the people, Su Yan rose from the ground. He waved the celestial star chains with his left hand and the heaven and earth bracelet with his right. These 2 rare treasures were rare treasures of the Xian people. B** starred. The 2 true immortals of the Xian people were furious. These were the secret treasures of their race. Now that he had them, they were used against the experts of the Xian people. Suppress. Su Yan pushed the 2 treasures, the heaven and earth bracelet and the celestial star chains, toward the 2 true immortals. Along the way, the 2 treasures were at their strongest state. The bracelet was huge and hit one of the true immortals. As for the celestial star chains, it was even more shocking than Xian Bailing's. It reshaped the pattern of the stars and created a world to suppress the 2nd true immortal. Run! The 2 true immortals were shocked. They were suppressed again. Although they could break through the 2 treasures, it was difficult to do so in a short time. During this time, Su Yan might severely injure Xian Bailing. One of the Xian people's false immortals died at the hands of the young Devil King. They were already disgraced. If Xia Kunlun killed another one, the consequences would be severe. Although Xian Bailing was a false immortal prodigy, she knew that she was no match for Su Yan. She quickly retreated and took out a time and space diagram. She stepped on the time and space diagram and flew toward the distant world. Stay! Su Yan shouted excitedly as if he had found a beautiful prey. The energy in his body surged and flooded the entire space. Then, it burst out, shaking the time and space diagram until it was about to shatter. Boom! At the same time, Su Yan's large hand reached over and suppressed Xian Bailing. Bastard, do you think I can't stop a good-for-nothing from a defeated clan? Xian Bailing was furious. Her beautiful eyes were wide open. Chanting sounds came from her body. Her body and primordial spirit erupted. She stood at the false immortal realm and created a great divine ability. A large seal covered the sky, shining brilliantly. A large immortal seal with a grand and ancient aura, so heavy that it crushed the void, smashing towards Su Yan's large hand. Boom! However, Su Yan's hand was like a giant palm that could encompass the entire world. He secretly circulated an immeasurable amount of strength, and the golden hand covered the entire sky. It was boundlessly vast, and just like that, it pressed down, causing the immortal imprint to explode. Not good! Xian Bailing was alarmed. They weren't in the same domain at all, but as the large golden hand descended, she felt suffocated. Breathing was difficult, blood flowing out from her mouth and nose. Once she was suppressed, she would either die or be seriously injured. She was also extremely decisive. She activated a silver talisman. The instant it exploded, an ancient space-time aura spread out, accompanied by the light of time. It opened up space-time, opening up a deep space-time tunnel. Someone sighed in admiration. As expected of the Xian people's heavenly talents, this was an immortal Tao-level space-time breaking talisman, extremely precious. It opened up a space-time tunnel that not only connected to a distant place, it also contained world-shocking defenses. Right when half of Xian Bailing's foot was about to enter the space-time tunnel, heaven and earth changed, indescribably terrifying. It was as if the heavens opened their eyes, suffusing with the dignity of judging all life. Two world-shocking rays of light erupted from Su Yan's cold eyes, instantly locking onto Xian Bailing. During this process, she suffered the suppression of heaven and earth, continuously coughing out blood. Hua! Everyone was shocked. What was this? The heavenly talent of the Xian people couldn't stop Xia Kunlun at all. She was directly suppressed, and she didn't even have time to break through the escape door that she had opened. "Stop it, you bastard!" The two level 3 true immortals roared. They both burned their true immortal bodies, bombarding the two immortal treasures until they trembled and were about to be overturned. But no matter how loud they roared, they couldn't help Xian Bailing now. "Heavenly Bamboo, if anything happens to the young mistress, your clan won't be able to escape the blame." The two true immortals were extremely anxious. Heavenly Bamboo still had 3 true immortals here, but they didn't attack, mainly because they were afraid and worried that they would lose their lives. This sentence forced the 3 true immortals to attack. Xian Bailing's identity was too noble. If something happened to her, their clan would have to face the wrath of the Xian people. "If you dare to take a step forward, kill!" But just as they took a small step, a black figure appeared. With the immortal slaying sword on his back, he was as cold as a god as he looked down at the 3 true immortals. Young Devil King! The entire place was in an uproar. A legendary figure had appeared. This person was truly infamous. Just based on the series of major incidents he had done, he was definitely a terrifying leader, even more ferocious than Xia Kunlun. Once this type of character appeared, the experts occupying the various entrances in the outside world all sighed in admiration. The Imperial Court's bloodline produced 2 matchless heavenly geniuses in succession, and there was even a mysterious imperishable body. This was a sign that they were about to rise from the ashes. This clan had been silent for millions of years. "Young Devil King, give me your life." In the distant world, holy light surged. A golden flag exploded, flowing with holy light. The moment the huge flag pressed down, the starry sky was covered. It's the Xian people's war flag. The Xian people have set up an ambush here. Looks like they want to kill the young Devil King. The crowd was shocked. Even though they were so far away, they still couldn't bear it. As the flag descended from the sky, it crushed layers of small worlds, creating a scene of mountains collapsing and seas splitting. Su Yan was shocked. This treasure was incomparably powerful. As the flag shone, it was as if millions of immortal mountains were pressing down. It could easily crush immortal Tao experts to death. 1. On the other side, brilliant divine light shone, illuminating heaven and earth, piercing one's soul to the point of splitting. An ancient mirror shone, shooting out a dusky beam of light that wanted to kill the true immortal's soul. Immortal vast habitat, the Sien people are truly generous. For the sake of killing the young Devil King, they actually used two of their most powerful imitations. The Sien people's war flag and the immortal vast habitat, even though they were both imitations, their power was exceptional. It wasn't something Su Yan's heaven and earth bracelet could compare to. This was a powerful killing weapon. Young Devil King, you are finally willing to come out. This time, let's see where you can run to. Evil creature, your sins are too great. Dying 10,000 times isn't enough to appease my hatred. From the surrounding worlds, large amounts of Sien people rushed over. Their hearts were burning with rage. What was Xia Kunlun? The one they wanted to kill was the young Devil King, a ruthless person who made the Sien people lose all face. Thousands upon thousands of Sien people turned into a flood of steel, unstoppable. From this moment on, Su Yan stretched out his arm and captured Sien Biling alive. How dare you! The Sien people were furious. They had cruel smiles on their faces. So what if they captured Sien Biling alive? Could Su Yan escape? The entire surrounding world had already been sealed by the Sien people. Su Yan wouldn't be able to escape even if he had wings. Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind. His eyes were like lightning. His entire body emitted an aura that merged with the space-time wormhole. In a short period of time, the entire region rose and fell with it. Boom! Countless people were stunned. What great boldness! This was the sign of swallowing the entire region. Everyone seemed to have seen an unrivaled emperor illuminating the entire region, occupying the most powerful position. Do you think the Sien people are so great? Come here and die. I'll kill all of you. Su Yan rose into the air and stood at the peak of the heavens. His majestic figure emitted a shocking heavenly might as he looked down on all life in the universe. Chapter 1497. Su Yan rose from the ground. His energy erupted, illuminating the world with boundless divine might. His divine might could swallow the entire region, looking down on all living beings and intimidating the world. His majestic appearance was extremely majestic. All the living beings in this vast region had to bow down and worship this figure. Top 10,000 geniuses, the supreme Overlord. The entire place was in an uproar. Everyone could see this man who could swallow the entire region, dominating the heavens. His posture was quite shocking. One had to know that this was the territory of the Sky Bamboo lineage. From the moment Su Yan erupted until now, the Sky Bamboo lineage's void immortal experts had not made any moves, nor did they have any intention of interrupting Su Yan. Xia Kunlun. Zhu Jiuyang roared. This was a great humiliation. He wanted nothing more than to rush up and beat up Su Yan. This was the territory of the Sky Bamboo lineage, but Xia Kunlun had illuminated the entire region here. He was completely challenging the entire Sky Bamboo lineage. Who could withstand it? However, the result was obvious. He had swallowed the entire region and resonated with the space-time wormhole. Therefore, a shocking pressure descended and swept across the entire region. All the young geniuses were terrified and wanted to bow down and worship this figure. Did he really think that the top 10,000 was simple? There had been an incident where billions of living beings had bowed down to him. He had completely dominated a large region and enjoyed the endless baptism of fortune. He had broken through the shackles of the immortal Tao realm. In a short period of time, he could build a shocking foundation. In the future, this group of people would climb to the peak of the true immortal realm at an extremely fast speed, leaving Yingjie in the dust. Although there would be more cruel struggles in the future and the danger of death, To be able to stand in the top 10,000 of the emperor ranking and dominate a large region was already a magnificent feat that brought glory to one's ancestors. Let him be proud for a while. I will personally kill him and make him regret coming to this world. Zhu Yanghua was really restless. He wanted nothing more than to kill Su Yan right now. He had confidence and certainty. The sky bamboo root in his body was an item of his ancestors. Once he used it, he believed that he could kill a shocking enemy. But right now, Zhu Songhua had an even more important matter to attend to. His family had brought over a bamboo leaf that was supported by a powerful artifact. A jade-green bamboo leaf flowed with the most powerful divine might in the world. It was like the most powerful fluctuations from the past, present, and future, and it was extremely shocking. This was a bamboo leaf from the primogenitor's true body. Once it descended, it was enough to suppress and kill world-shocking figures. I want to reopen the land of fortune. He released a low roar and used the sky bamboo root to revive the bamboo leaf. He urged the bamboo leaf to release a radiance that pierced through the spatial door created by the ancestor. Boom! Sure enough, the tightly shut ancestral gate began to rumble on its own. The silent gate was about to be knocked away by the bamboo leaf. Ha ha ha, it works! That's great. As long as we can reopen the primogenitor's fortune grounds, who cares about Xia Kunlun? So what if he was the young devil king? In the future, the top 10 of the monarch ranking board will all have a place in it. That's right, this is a heaven-sent opportunity. Zhu Songhua, you must grasp this shocking fortune. When you come out of seclusion, you will be the future saint son of our family. The group of elders were excited. They also wanted to suppress Xia Kunlun, but the matter at hand was more important and they could not care about anything else. Even if Su Yan temporarily dominated a large region, this was nothing. In the future, he would still be able to tear apart Xia Kunlun's projection. Zhu Songhua was also excited. He felt that after a few more attempts, he would be able to reopen the primogenitor's fortune grounds. The fortune is still mine in the end. You dare to compete with me for it? Xia Kunlun, you probably didn't expect that I could open the primogenitor's fortune grounds. Zhu Songhua was in a good mood. When he saw Zhu Yao nearby, his face sank and he shouted, "What are you still doing here? The family has ordered you to leave immediately. Don't you understand the family lord's order?" Zhu Yao's expression dimmed and her fighting spirit was greatly damaged. She felt that her future was bleak. Zhu Songhua's words made her clench her fists. Flames of anger burned in her eyes as her chest heaved up and down. She roared in her heart, "Who the hell are you?" Bamboo Moon was actually still alive and had even stepped into the primogenitor's fortune grounds. This was a huge blow to Zhu Yao. Back in the day, she was the leader of the Sky Bamboo lineage in the Xianwang universe. She could do whatever she wanted. She had also harbored a vicious heart and dug out Bamboo Moon's Sky Bamboo Law projection seed. And the result? Bamboo Moon was not dead. In fact, she was still alive. Xia Kunlun had even stood out and risked his life to open the primogenitor's fortune grounds and send her inside. All of this made Zhu Yao so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. Why didn't she kill Bamboo Moon back then? Why didn't she eliminate the source of trouble? Otherwise, things wouldn't have been so bad. I can't go back. Otherwise, the family will punish me severely. Zhu Yao's expression was cold. The Supreme Ancestor had taken out a primogenitor's item to open the primogenitor's space. The price was too great. Even if she could reopen the primogenitor's fortune grounds, it had nothing to do with her. Who are you? Are you the person who died? Who is Xia Kunlun? Who is the young devil king? Zhu Yao's emotions really exploded. Her mournful eyes stared at the majestic figure that was about to intertwine with the space-time wormhole. His shocking words also shook the entire place. Many onlookers were petrified and thought that they had heard wrong. Was this guy crazy? Did he not know how many experts the Xian people had killed? Even the Xian people's war flag and the immortal vast habitat, two rare imitations of supreme treasures, had come. Not to mention the peak void immortals, even peak true immortals would be wary of these things. Evil creature! The Xian people's experts roared. Murderous light flashed in their eyes. They wanted to tear Xia Kunlun apart. Save me, save me! Xian Bailing was scared out of her wits. She was captured alive. Su Yan's hand held her tightly, making it difficult for her to struggle. She was also humiliated. She was the young void immortal of the Xian people, the pride of the heavens. Now she was captured alive in front of everyone. The Xian people's face was completely lost because of her. Let her go, and you can die less easily. The Xian people's experts didn't dare to act rashly. They were worried that Su Yan would kill Xian Bailing. It's not impossible to let her go. Su Yan smiled brightly and said, but you have to pay a price. Price? The Xian people's experts gathered. The expert holding the war flag said coldly, what do you want? Let you go? The young Devil King has already escaped. You better pray that the young Devil King didn't run too far away. Otherwise, you won't have a good ending. My condition is simple, Su Yan said coldly. Give me the head of your young paragon, and I'll let her go. In the sky and on the ground, everywhere was dead silent. Countless people felt a chill down their spines. This lunatic. Didn't he know who the young paragon of the Xian people was? There was already news that the young paragon of the Xian people was qualified to be the top 3 on the monarch rankings. He would definitely be qualified to be the paragon of the monarch rankings in the future. Moreover, the leaders of the 10 heroes of the Xian people were extremely powerful. One of them had already gone through the spacetime wormhole. They would definitely be ranked among the top 10,000 in the future. With the strength of the Xian people, they would probably be ranked among the top 10,000 in this generation. They admitted that Xia Kunlun was strong, but it was still difficult for him to compete with the strongest of the Xian people, Ingjia. As for the young paragon of the Xian people, what kind of existence was he? He was extremely powerful and was known as the invincible war god. You lunatic! The expert in charge of the Xian vast habitat exploded. He directly waved the ancient stone mirror and a torrential soul storm rose. The souls of the onlookers in the distance trembled, as if they had fallen into purgatory. Listen up, all of you. I'll take Xian Bailing with me for a while. When the Xian people have thought it through, you can come and find me. In an instant, Su Yan rose from the ground like a peerless Kuan-Pung. He soared 100,000 feet into the sky and then forcefully opened the spacetime wormhole with an intimidating aura. Roar! Su Yan let out a long roar. The light of qi and blood that flowed out of his body tore the spacetime path apart. His aura surged to the extreme. It was truly unprecedented. Su Yan forcefully opened a path and stepped out of the path to heaven, leaving the world with a magnificent back view. What? The whole place was in an uproar again. Some people's hearts couldn't take it anymore. It was too difficult to forcefully open the path to heaven in such a manner. No one had thought that Su Yan would use such a violent method to leave this region. How terrifying was this person's combat strength? Could it be that he was qualified to be in the top 100 of the monarch rankings? Preposterous! The Xian people's army gathered. The experts flew across the sky. It was like a chaotic dance of gods and demons. They were going to battle the heavens. After all, the young Devil King was about to be executed. Xia Kunlun, who was related to him, was also about to be captured alive. But now, something big had happened. Su Yan had left in a peerless manner. What was even more embarrassing was that no one could track him down. Some people were so angry that they almost vomited blood. If they had known this would happen, they would have let the young kings of the Xian people come. There was a limit to what could be done by forcefully opening the path to heaven. Of course, it wasn't difficult to do so. The prerequisite was that the formation in the ancient city could open a tunnel through the path to heaven. but it was too difficult to forcefully open it. My heart aches. The heaven and earth bracelet and the celestial star chain are two unique treasures. We lost them just like that. There were also murmurs of heartache. The onlookers were dumbfounded. Someone scratched his head. You speak as if these treasures belonged to you. In short, they were really speechless. The two great treasures were taken by him, yet he was still feeling heartache. This was really deranged. Fortunately, we captured the female geniuses of the Sien people alive. This trip was quite fruitful. Murmurs of excitement could be heard. The onlookers here were dumbstruck. Sien Bailing was captured alive by him. She was a noble daughter of the Sien people, a female void immortal. She was captured alive by this demon. The people of the world couldn't imagine what would happen next. Chase after him. Issue the strongest kill order. We must find him. The true immortal of the Sien people cried out mournfully. There was nothing he could do now. He could only wait for the supreme overlord of his race to take action and kill Xia Kunlun on the path to heaven. There's also the young devil king. He definitely didn't run too far. Find him even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground. The entire world was in chaos. The experts of the various races in the outside world were all speechless. This was truly a ruthless person. He directly left through the path to heaven. No one knew where he was going. This matter was very big. It was like a thunderclap that continued to spread to the distant world. Xia Kunlun's name would probably spread to the dozens of regions nearby. Su Yen had left. But what he never expected was that Zhu Songhua used a bamboo leaf of the sky bamboo ancestor to open the ancestor's space again. The moment the ancient green passage opened, Zhu Songhua cried out excitedly. He was extremely excited as he charged toward the ancestor's space of fortune. Important meeting. How should we deal with Sien Bailing? After all, she's a noble daughter of the Sien people. It's a pity to kill her. Important notice. Qing Tian is attending a friend's wedding. He's also going to the bridal chamber. I'm afraid he won't return tonight. Don't wait for me tonight. Chapter 1498. The ancient primogenitor's passageway flowed with an ancient and vast divine might, as if the primogenitor was still alive. This scene caused the hearts of the sky bamboo experts to surge. They all worshipped the primogenitor's space devoutly. Someone roared, "Although our race is ruled by the celestials, primogenitor, you have already fallen. Our sky bamboo lineage has been declining these years. I hope primogenitor can give all the good fortune to Zhu Songhua and restore our race's glory and legend." These words were somewhat disgraceful. It had to be said that these true immortals were bold to say that the sky bamboo lineage was ruled by the celestials in front of the primogenitor's space. In any case, the primogenitor who had fallen 1,000,000 years ago could not still be alive. The race's most outstanding disciple, Zhu Songhua, had obtained the primogenitor's supreme material, the sky bamboo root. He had cultivated the sky bamboo Dharma idol and had great hopes of walking the path of the primogenitor again. This was incredible for the future of the sky bamboo lineage. He, Zhu Songhua, might become the supreme Ingjie who created glory and legend in the future. Once he became a primogenitor, it would be a heaven-defying feat that would shake the entire undying heavenly domain and leave behind a legend. "I'm coming!" Zhu Songhua excitedly rushed into the passageway and arrived at an ancient world. At first, Zhu Songhua's heart was not calm. Killing intent leaked out. He wanted to kill Bamboo Moon, kill the woman who should have died in Xianwang universe. In the end, the scene in this space-time was beyond his expectations. He couldn't find any trace of Zhu Yu, and his mind was soon drawn to a bamboo forest that was rooted in the void of space-time. The bamboo forest did not look large, but when one looked through it, it was as if one could see billions of sky bamboos shining. They flowed with a supreme aura and intertwined with supreme laws. The pressure made Zhu Songhua tremble and suffocate. "This is?" Zhu Songhua was shocked. He quickly recalled the contents of a secret tome in his family's treasury. He looked at the vast bamboo forest again, and his heart trembled. Could this be the strongest treasure of my race, the sky bamboo forest? He lost control of his emotions and let out a low roar. This was a heaven-defying opportunity, a supreme good fortune. It was hard for Zhu Songhua to control himself. In the end, he threw his head back and laughed. Ha ha ha, the heavens are helping me. The heavens are helping me. The most powerful supreme treasure of the sky bamboo lineage, the sky bamboo forest. This was the strongest treasure that the progenitor had refined his entire life. Although its name sounded ordinary, who didn't know the power of the sky bamboo forest? Although it wasn't one of the 10 greatest treasures, the power of this item wasn't much weaker than the 10 greatest treasures. The sky bamboo forest had disappeared with the sky bamboo progenitor. But now, Zhu Yonghua saw this dreamlike immortal treasure. He was wild with excitement. Was this the fortune left behind by the progenitor? Ancestor bamboo leaf. I used the bamboo leaf to open the space created by the progenitor. As the progenitor's disciple, I also obtained a bamboo leaf. Every progenitor's personal disciple has a life-saving bamboo leaf. Zhu Yonghua took out the progenitor's bamboo leaf. Could it be that the paragon in charge of the sky bamboo lineage is the progenitor's personal disciple? Murderous intent surged in Giant Bamboo's heart. He also tried his best to control his emotions. In the sky bamboo forest, he wasn't surprised to see Zhu Yonghua's crazed appearance. This was the sky bamboo forest, the strongest supreme treasure. Su Yan has the heaven-opening brush and the 9 continents cauldrons, but I've never seen him like this. Giant Bamboo sneered. The sky bamboo forest is indeed the progenitor's supreme treasure. It's also the strongest supreme treasure of our lineage. But times have changed. Millions of years have passed. Have they forgotten that the sky bamboo forest was a training ground that the progenitor used to test our disciples? The sky bamboo forest wasn't just the race's strongest supreme treasure. It was also a magnificent training ground. In the past, the sky bamboo progenitor took in clansmen who performed outstandingly in the sky bamboo forest as personal disciples. After so many years, the progenitor had about 20 disciples. But Giant Bamboo was very bright. The sky bamboo lineage had developed for millions of years, but there wasn't a single disciple that could satisfy the sky bamboo progenitor. However, he possesses the sky bamboo root. If he really enters the sky bamboo forest, his performance will be outstanding. Giant Bamboo's expression darkened. Bamboo Moon had already begun to challenge the forest, but it was hard to say if she could compare to Zhu Yonghua. If Zhu Yonghua's progress surpassed Bamboo Moon's, then Zhu Yonghua would enter the progenitor's grotto heaven and obtain a great opportunity. All of a sudden, Giant Bamboo emitted a powerful induction that pulled the hesitant Zhu Yao into the tunnel. Zhu Yao, how dare you step in here? Do you want to die? Zhu Yonghua was enraged. He hadn't expected Zhu Yao to enter as well. The sky bamboo forest. Zhu Yao was shocked when she saw this item. She trembled with excitement. This was a supreme opportunity. She hadn't expected it to be hidden in the progenitor's space. Let the two of them fight. The giant bamboo's mind became even more silent as he said, the reason the ancestor created the sky bamboo lineage over a long period of time was to find a disciple who could surpass him. Although Zhu Yonghua has obtained the sky bamboo root and his future is limitless, it will be difficult for him to obtain the progenitor's favor. He will be walking the same path as the progenitor. The progenitor once nurtured a peerlessly talented disciple and even bestowed them with rare treasures. Unfortunately, the progenitor wants to find a disciple that can surpass him. From this moment on, Giant Bamboo was not prepared to guide Bamboo Moon's cultivation. The sky bamboo forest was a super powerful training ground. Giant Bamboo's achievements were limited in the past, but he believed that with Bamboo Moon's talent, she would definitely surpass him. If she could nurture a new sky bamboo aspect seed in the sky bamboo forest, she would definitely be stronger. Bamboo Moon, you can only rely on yourself from now on. Giant Bamboo was full of expectations. Su Yen had helped her too much. She could only rely on Bamboo Moon for the rest of her journey. The progenitor's passageway closed once again. The outside world was in chaos, and war cries filled the air. Xia Kunlun had left and captured Xian Bailing alive, but the young Devil King was still there. He did not leave the path to heaven with Xia Kunlun. The Xian people sent people to search for the young Devil King all over the world. What the world did not know was that the young Devil King and Xia Kunlun were the same person. Another group of people rushed to the ancient city of this large region and activated the passageway that connected the path to heaven. They spread the news quickly and issued the strongest arrest warrant. In the outside world, at the tens of thousands of entrances to the 10,000 tribe battlefield, the atmosphere in some areas was suffocating. The most prosperous immortal sects were furious. They had once said that the celestial court would never be able to rise again. Even in the 10,000 tribe battlefield, they would not be able to obtain any of the strongest seats. In the end, in less than a month, before the young Devil King could explode, someone called Xia Kunlun rose up. Of course, this was nothing. After all, the battle for supremacy in the 10,000 tribe battlefield had not started yet. However, the clan's proud daughter, Xian Bailing, was captured alive. This completely enraged the Xian people. The group of ancestors was furious, and their hearts were about to explode. Who is Xia Kunlun? The roar exploded, shaking heaven and earth. The Xian people already knew the name of the perpetrator, but who was he? What was his relationship with the celestial court? Who was the indestructible body from before? In short, the battle at the place where the heavenly bamboo progenitor fell made Xia Kunlun famous. His fierceness was close to the young Devil King's, and it caused a huge commotion. Things are not that bad. The heavenly bamboo progenitor's expressions improved slightly. The progenitor's space opened again, and Zhu Yanghua and Zhu Yao entered. Although Bamboo Moon from the Xianwang universe also entered, how could a weak woman stop Zhu Yanghua? There were also some experts searching for traces of Xia Kunlun on the path to heaven. However, he was too fast. Even with the suppression of the path to heaven, he crossed dozens of space-time wormholes in a short time. People could not lock onto his destination. Xian Bailing was also sealed by Su Yen, suppressed in a space-time treasure. Su Yen did not want to kill Xian Bailing now. Keeping her was also a trump card. He kept crossing the path to heaven, and finally, Su Yen rushed to a zone. One sword to slay the immortal Tao. It will be my strongest trump card in the future. I wonder if there are any weapons suitable for me in this sword mound. Su Yen really wanted to get a super weapon. Although he would be qualified to use the Jojo Heavenly Cauldron and the Heaven-Opening Writing Brush when he stepped into the immortal Tao realm in the future, these two supreme treasures were too shocking. Even if Su Yen became an immortal, he would not be able to use much of their power. If he wanted to gain a foothold in the 10,000 tribes battlefield, it was impossible without a powerful weapon to protect himself. Of course, the most important thing was that the immortal slaying sword would only be able to unleash its strongest effect with the help of a powerful killing sword. Therefore, Su Yen could not wait to obtain a powerful killing weapon to protect himself. He rushed into a space-time wormhole and could see that there were billions of sword lights surging and blooming below. This was an ancient ruin that had already been conquered by the sword sect. Although there were still some factions fishing in troubled waters, with the sword sect's Fan Jian overseeing this place, very few peak void immortals dared to come and scheme for fortune. Su Yen was not afraid. He directly rushed into the world below the space-time wormhole. He wanted to go to the sword mound to seek fortune. In fact, Su Yen had not fully descended into the sword mound ruins, but news had already spread here. The 10,000 tribes battlefield was divided into 10,000 regions and 10,000 ancient cities. There were also teleportation formations between ancient cities that could transmit information. On this day, a piece of news came, causing a huge commotion in the 10,000 tribes battlefield. The descendants of the Celestial Court have appeared one after another. Xia Kunlun has become a peak void immortal. He reflected the space-time wormhole and slaughtered more than 10 true immortals in one battle. The proud daughter of the Xian people, Xian Bailing, was also captured alive. The shocking news swept across the world like a flood, spreading throughout the vast immortal heavenly domain. It was huge and shocking. A peerless genius of the Celestial Court had risen. It was not a young devil, but a ruthless person called Xia Kunlun. He suppressed the proud daughter of the Xian people and slaughtered more than 10 true immortals. His battle shocked the world. Xia Kunlun? This. In another large region, the smell of blood was very heavy. Too many people had died. The huge world of the ruins was filled with corpses. The number of people who had died was immeasurable. This was the world of the ruins of the uncanny craftsmanship sect. The bloodshed was so severe that even the Xian people could not completely occupy it. They could only divide the territory with some immortal sects and jointly manage it. When the news reached here, the experts of the Xian people were furious. Xian Bailing was actually captured alive. This made them go berserk. One of the black-robed young men had a wooden expression as he muttered, "That ruthless man once used the alias of Xia Kunlun, but he is already dead, buried in the darkness." However, Xia Kunlun appeared. Is there such a coincidence in this world? Xia Kunlun was the alias Su Yen used before. Although it was only for a short time, some people remembered it. Zhu Xing was scared. Su Xianren was still alive? Saint Sun, bad news. In the world of the Sword Tomb, Fan Jian heard the news and was immediately excited. He wanted to go to the region where the young devil was and challenge him. However, a large group of disciples came, looking panicked. Someone said, "Someone broke into the mountain and defeated our race's geniuses. He is about to kill his way into the Sword Tomb." Which idiot came to report to the King of Hell again? Fan Jian was angry. He shouted fiercely, "Hurry up and lead the way. I will go and suppress him. If my challenge to the young devil is delayed, I will make him suffer." 9 Heaven's Deity Emperor. Chapter 1499. Fan Jian, the Sword Sect's most powerful genius, was already known as the Sword Sect's Saint. This grey-clothed youth was handsome and had sword-like eyebrows. Although he was a handsome young man, once he released his aura, it was like an unsheathed killing sword that could easily split open the sky. "The Saint is mighty!" A group of Sword Sect's geniuses shouted excitedly. Regardless of gender, they were all excited and their faces were full of pride. There were even some who were restless, like a group of battle maniacs. There were also a few Sword Sect's true immortals here. Their faces were all gloomy. Ever since Fan Jian joined the Sword Sect, the atmosphere in the Sword Sect had changed. The young people in the sect had all become battle maniacs, which greatly affected the Sword Sect. Regarding this, the sect's patriarchs were helpless. After all, Fan Jian was the most powerful person in the younger generation and would lead the Sword Sect in the future. His subordinates would follow his behavior. However, there was no doubt about Fan Jian's strength. In the current 10,000 tribes battlefield, there were hundreds of space-time wormhole illuminators, and Fan Jian was naturally one of them. Sooner or later, he would become the shocking Yingjie on the top 10,000 list. He might even fight for a higher position in the future. Since the establishment of the Sword Sect, there had been peerless geniuses who were ranked in the top 10 of the Emperor rankings. There was no doubt that the Sword Sect's foundation was very strong, and they also had one of the 10 greatest treasures, the sky-dominating sword, to guard the sect's fate. Fan Jian carried a sword embryo on his back. This sword was huge and looked like a sword, but it wasn't a sword and it also looked like a saber, but it wasn't a saber either. It emitted a domineering aura that made even true immortals tremble in fear. This was a replica of the sky-dominating sword, which was jointly forged by a group of patriarchs. It was also a super-powerful killing weapon that was tailor-made for Fan Jian. It wasn't inferior to the murderous weapons of any immortal sect's successors. Fan Jian, don't be careless. We don't know the purpose of the person who came. He even broke through the killing sword peak and defeated our clan's geniuses. You can't underestimate him. An elder couldn't help but remind him. Over the years, Fan Jian had become stronger and stronger and was already known as the world's #1 sword. However, there was always someone stronger. Although Fan Jian was strong, he wasn't invincible in this world. Perhaps in terms of swordsmanship, Fan Jian was truly qualified to become a grandmaster. However, in other areas, Fan Jian had yet to cultivate to the extreme. Hearing this, Fan Jian said indifferently, "This person forced his way into the sword mound to cause trouble. Humph, wait until I suppress this kid and teach him a lesson. Then, I'll go to the Sky Bamboo's territory and find the young Devil King to fight." The group of sword sect elders felt helpless. The young Demon King was no ordinary person. He dared to declare war on the Xian people and had the Yen Emperor behind him. They were really worried that Fan Jian would run into a tough opponent. After all, Fan Jian had never suffered a single defeat since he started cultivating. If he really suffered a crushing defeat, it would most likely affect his Dao heart. Sword cultivators were supposed to move forward courageously. Once they encountered a setback, it was very likely that they would be unable to recover from the setback. The sword tomb ruins were enormous, almost occupying the entire vast region. Every generation of the sword sect would occupy this world of ruins. But even after a long time had passed, not a single one of them had managed to pluck all of the good fortune within the sword tomb. The sword sect had once speculated that there was a shocking good fortune hidden within the sword tomb. However, no one had managed to find anything. After 1,000,000 years, the sword sect had once again produced a peerless genius. This caused the sword sect's old ancestor to place high hopes on Fan Jian, hoping that he would obtain a great harvest. At the core of the vast sword tomb world, a large number of geniuses from the sword sect gathered. Even fifth senior brother was defeated. Where did that person come from? The sword sect's geniuses discussed heatedly. They surrounded a black mountain peak, giving off a visual impact. It was as if a majestic black heavenly sword was spitting out sword light. The black mountain peak was completely black, and it flowed with a murderous aura. It was as if illusory immortal swords were flowing on the mountain peak. It was a fatal threat to any expert who ventured into the Killing Sword Peak. This was the Killing Sword Peak. Many geniuses from the sword sect resided on the Killing Sword Peak, comprehending the vast sword intent emitted by the Killing Sword Peak. 2 hours ago, Su Yen had arrived and directly charged up. Facing the sword sect's obstructions, he attacked with lightning speed, consecutively defeating more than 10 geniuses from the sword sect. Even a pseudo-immortal expert who was sitting cross-legged on the peak was defeated miserably. That person is so strong. Only the Holy Sun can defeat him. The sword sect's fifth senior brother was no ordinary person. His sword cultivation had reached the acme of perfection, and he was ranked in the top 10 of the sword sect. However, he was defeated in less than 10 moves by Su Yen. His body rolled down from the Killing Sword Peak as he screamed, "Quick, get the Holy Sun, quick! What are you talking about?" Before the person arrived, Fan Jian's arrogant words had already been heard. "What do you mean by only I can defeat him? Since the person who came past the Killing Sword Peak, he is definitely a sword cultivator. In this world, how many people are qualified to make me draw my sword? Holy Sun, I'm just saying." The sword sect's fifth senior brother wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and smiled apologetically. "No matter how strong that kid is, He can't be compared to the world's #1 sword cultivator. Holy Sun, quickly climb up the mountain. You must stop this kid. I saw him charging straight up. His goal is the Four Sages Sword region. What? He went to the Four Sages Sword region? The group of elders' faces changed as they cried out involuntarily, "Who is this person? Could it be that he knows the hidden place of fortune here? Fan Jian, quickly go over there. Don't let him get close to the Four Sages Sword region. If he can really enter the Four Sages Sword region." Fan Jian's eyes lit up as he said excitedly, "He might be a world-shaking sword cultivator." Up until now, only 4 geniuses from the sword sect had entered the Four Sages Sword region, including Fan Jian. This showed how difficult it was to enter the Four Sages Sword region. On the Killing Sword Peak, there was a cave. Su Yen followed his senses and came here. He was right to come here. Ever since he stepped into the sword catacomb, the Four Sages' inheritance hidden between his eyebrows vaguely moved. Could it be that this place has something to do with the skeleton? Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. The mysterious skeleton in the Xian Huang universe was extremely knowledgeable and had a terrifying background. Only God knew what era it came from. In short, it was so powerful that Su Yan could only look up to it. Even the fairy-slaying sword of the Xian people was closely related to the mysterious skeleton. This showed how mysterious he was. Now, in this mysterious world of the sword catacomb, the Four Sages' inheritance in Su Yan's primordial spirit were showing signs of awakening. Su Yan had to pay attention to this. Could it be that I've really encountered a great opportunity? Su Yan walked along a bluestone road and kept moving forward. Along the way, Su Yan was tortured by the sages. It was as if there was a sword embryo hanging above his head that could kill Su Yan at any time. This was a road of life and death. Only those with great courage were qualified to walk on this road. This road was also very long. Su Yan did not know how long he had been walking. He was sweating profusely and his face was a little pale. After encountering so many trials of the sage's path, he felt powerless. Gradually, this path had come to an end. Su Yan's eyes shone brightly. He saw that along the way, 4 space-time voids had appeared. This is? Su Yan was shocked. The 4 space-time voids were like 4 peerless immortal swords that were unsheathed. It was terrifying. When they approached, they were about to tear his spirit and will apart, causing him to fall into eternal damnation. What a terrifying sword will! Su Yan was moved. He said, "If I'm a sword cultivator and cultivate here for a long time, I can also gain great opportunities. It's like being baptized. I wonder if there's any creation here." Su Yan said to himself, "But even if there is, it's most likely taken away by the sword sect. But since this place is related to the mysterious skeleton and I've mastered the heaven-destroying sword path, I might be able to gain something if I go in and investigate." Su Yan was not willing to give up just like that. He was here to look for creation. If he could get his hands on a great killing weapon, it would be enough for him to return with a full load. It might even be of great help to Su Yan in his future struggle for supremacy. "Let's go in and take a look." Su Yan was on full alert and entered the first sword path grotto heaven. After about half an incense stick's time, he came out. There were some sword wounds on his body, but they did not harm his vitality. He encountered a powerful sword cultivator and after a fierce battle, he finally won. But Su Yan did not find any creation and returned in disappointment. Just like that, he entered the second sword path grotto heaven. The atmosphere of the 2 grotto heavens was completely different, and the sword will was different as well. Su Yan was astonished. He had met yet another genius of the sword Dao. Furthermore, it was a woman. Su Yan did not use too much force on her. He had subdued her and did not dig out anything from the heavenly abode. Su Yan was even more disappointed. He did not find anything in the 3rd grotto heaven. The 4 sages' sword realm, the 3 sword paths time and space. Although there were shocking sword wills, there were no weapons. Just like that, Su Yen patiently entered the fourth sword path grotto heaven. How terrifying! He was shocked. The first three grotto heavens had different sword wills, and he could withstand them. But this grotto heaven's killing intent was too dense. It was as if thousands of demonic killing swords were slashing at Su Yan's soul. Even someone as powerful as Su Yan's primordial spirit felt a piercing pain. It was obvious how terrifying the fourth killing sword space was. It was also a type of sword will. Su Yan was filled with excitement as he explored this place, hoping to discover something. Third brother, what's wrong? At this time, Fan Jian came. He was excited, but just as he arrived at the Four Sages' Sword Realm, he saw the Sword Sect's third senior brother beaten black and blue. He was shocked. Saint's son, I met a ruthless scum. He beat me up as soon as he came. The Sword Sect's third senior brother complained. This was a young man in snow-white clothes. He had delicate features, but his appearance was too miserable. He was beaten black and blue. It's him. Very good, I finally met a worthy opponent. I wonder if he's as strong as the young demon king. Fan Jian was pleasantly surprised. He did not expect the Sword Dao genius to be so powerful. Even the Sword Sect's third brother could not defeat him. What? The young demon king is here? The Sword Sect's third senior brother's expression changed. That's not it. Fan Jian waved his hand and said, but I heard that there's a ruthless person by the young demon king's side who captured Xian Bailing alive. Didn't you chase after her before? In the end, you ran into her. Plop, the Sword Sect's third senior brother almost fell to the ground. He was in a daze, doubting his life. Xian Bailing was captured alive? That arrogant Xian people's daughter had high standards. Even someone as powerful as him did not enter her eyes. But Xian Bailing was captured alive? Don't worry. Fan Jian comforted the dazed third brother and said, after I suppress the young demon king, I'll make him hand over Xian Bailing and give her to you. The Sword Sect's third senior brother was so scared that he almost turned around and ran. He cursed Fan Jian inwardly for not being able to keep his mouth shut. If this spread out, the Xian people would not forgive Fan Jian. Brother Saint's son in the second Sword Dao paradise, a beautiful woman walked out. Her snow-white forehead was covered in bruises. She was pleasantly surprised to see Fan Jian. At the same time, she was worried about her perfect image. She covered the bruises on her forehead with her sleeve, not wanting Fan Jian to see her in such a sorry state. Fan Jian's reaction was very big. He stared at her with his eyes wide open, his pupils trembling. Fan Jian's shocking reaction caused the Sword Sect's second senior apprentice sister's heart to tremble. She thought to herself that this blockhead Fan Jian finally knew how to feel sorry for someone. She immediately felt wronged, and tears began to roll down her cheeks. She looked at Fan Jian pitifully, wanting to complain. Second brother, ha ha ha, you've been beaten too. Fan Jian's spirit was excited. Without a doubt, he had met a ruthless person. This was a powerful enemy, worthy of him drawing his sword and fighting. After all, Fan Jian's third senior brother and second senior sister were both defeated.